Chapter 1133, Wife, do you want to see my golden core? Hong Lian slowly elaborated on combat prowess during core formation. I understand. Lu Changxing nodded slightly. Combat prowess is something that can only be realized through actual fighting. Without a fight, unless the difference in realm is too great, showing an overwhelming advantage, it's uncertain. After all, every cultivator who has cultivated to this realm has some trump cards. However, Lu Changxing, based on his own mana and divine skills, believed that defeating a cultivator in the mid-core formation stage should pose no problem. As for those in the late core formation stage, Lu Changxing felt there was no need to concern himself. Young master, what grade of golden core did you condense? At this time, Hong Lian couldn't help but ask, her curiosity piqued. She wanted to know if Lu Changxing had condensed the legendary Great Dao Golden Core. An immortal golden core, it's just that my golden core has evolved and ascended upon the foundation of an immortal golden core. Lu Changxing stated directly. Although it is very presumptuous to inquire about someone's Dao foundation or the grade of their golden core among cultivators, Hong Lian was considered an insider, so Lu Changxing didn't mind. Moreover, after the busyness was over, Lu Changxing planned to have a soul fusion with Hong Lian for a deeper understanding of her, and once he confirmed that she had no other intentions, he would give her the Peachwood Spirit Womb. This way, aside from himself, there would be another nascent soul immortal in the family, giving him peace of mind to go out. To evolve upon the foundation of the immortal golden core, does the Great Dao Golden Core really exist? Hong Lian couldn't help exclaiming in surprise. Great Dao Golden Core? There is something beyond the immortal golden core? Lu Changxing was quite astonished. He had never heard of a Great Dao Golden Core. Even though his own golden core was named the Yin Yang Great Path Golden Core, he simply thought it was because he had cultivated the Yin Yang Great Path, hence condensing such a golden core. Yes, regarding the Great Dao Golden Core, I've only ever heard of it, never seen it, nor can confirm its existence. Hong Lian spoke softly. Oh. Lu Changxing raised his eyebrows, gesturing for Hong Lian to elaborate on this Great Dao Golden Core. I once read in a handbook that beyond the immortal golden core, there is a kind of golden core called the Great Dao Golden Core. Those who condense the Great Dao Golden Core are favored by the Great Dao in the unknown, cared for by heaven and earth. Their cultivation path will be much smoother in the future, and they possess the potential for divinity transformation. Hong Lian voiced out, guessing that Lu Changxing most likely possessed the Great Dao Golden Core. After all, the immortal golden core is already imperishable and without flaw, so how could there still be a possibility for transformation? Favored by the Great Dao in the unknown, enhancing one's destiny? Lu Changxing was astounded. He hadn't expected that condensing a core could also enhance one's destiny. However, he had heard of similar sayings. As a cultivator's realm breaks through, their fate invisibly improves a bit. Yes, the saying about destiny is elusive but indeed exists. For example, breaking through from core formation to nascent soul not only requires the right timing, location, and people, but also relates to destiny. Those who manage to break through to nascent soul are all blessed with great destiny. Hong Lian said, however, the truth of this saying is hard to verify. Furthermore, those who can condense the Great Dao Golden Core are children of destiny. Their cultivation path is smooth, as powerful as a bamboo, and even when faced with danger, they often turn calamities into blessings. Therefore, whether the Great Dao Golden Core has the effect of invisibly enhancing one's destiny, is also indiscernible. Although Hong Lian, as a nascent soul true monarch, has broad knowledge, such things as the Daoist body and Great Dao Golden Core are beyond her understanding, and much of which she knows only superficially. I see. Lu Changxing nodded slightly but didn't take it too seriously. He pursued perfection in his foundation, solely believing that he had the potential to become immortal. In this case, he naturally couldn't let the pursuit of realm hinder his foundation, causing him to spend a lot of time and effort later to make up for it. As for the effects of the Great Dao Golden Core, he thought it best if it existed, but was indifferent otherwise. Hong Lian, you have worked hard. Rest well, and in a few days, I will use a secret technique to nourish your soul. Lu Changxing spoke to Hong Lian. He then stored away the ancient beast taming charm and the remaining 4 core formation spiritual objects. Planning to leave these 4 spiritual objects for Lu Miaoge or Xiaoxia to use during their core formation. As long as the cave heaven spirit vein advances to 3rd rank, the 5 elements fruit tree can be planted. Then, whether in foundation establishment or core formation at home, everyone will be able to advance a whole level. Lu Changxing pondered internally. Inside his system space, he still possessed a 5 elements fruit tree. The 5 elements spirit fruits produced by this tree not only enhanced the probability of core formation, but also greatly benefited breakthrough to foundation establishment and the condensation of foundational mana. If Lu Rui had had a 5 elements spirit fruit when breaking through to foundation establishment, it would not only have greatly increased the success rate but even possibly achieved a flawless Dao foundation. 3rd order spirit vein. Lu Changxing took a deep breath and exhaled before stepping out of the cave mansion. Outside Changxing Hall, Ling Zixiao elegantly sat dressed in a blue palace dress, holding an ancient scroll. Upon seeing Lu Changxing, her genteel and lovely cheeks immediately lit up as she joyfully exclaimed, "My lord!" Zixiao. Lu Changxing approached with a smile, naturally embracing her voluptuous figure, and said, "Zixiao, now that I've broken through to core formation, I am confident that I can resolve the matter of your dragon roar physique." Of course, he would not forget about Ling Zixiao's dragon roar physique, nor that of his daughter, Lu Lingyi. Now that he had broken through to core formation, with his mana and yin-yang source fully enhanced, he was confident he could balance Ling Zixiao's dragon roar origin. "Thank you, my lord." Ling Zixiao, seeing that Lu Changxing's first concern was her own issue, smiled tenderly. Lu Changxing grasped Ling Zixiao's white wrist and activated the yin-yang creation scripture. Buzz. Back when his foundation establishment power could only temporarily suppress and balance the dragon roar physique, but now with the vast and mighty golden core true essence flowing into Ling Zixiao's body, it immediately overwhelmed the dragon roar chi. Under the command of the yin-yang great path golden core, which governs all laws, the dragon roar chi gradually transformed into a stream of yin-yang chi. Chapter 1134, Wife, do you want to see my golden core? This, Ling Zixiao felt the changes within her body, surprised at heart. She had once journeyed to the Jianghu Immortal City, spending all her spirit stones and heavenly and earthly treasures, to seek a diagnosis from a nascent soul immortal. But the other party indicated that her condition was beyond reversal. Yet Lu Changxing, having just broken through to core formation, was able to use his mana to reverse yin and yang, resolving her dragon roar physique situation, which was astonishing. Buzz buzz buzz, as Lu Changxing's yin-yang magic power baptized Ling Zixiao's meridians and dantian, the dragon roar physique was stimulated, beginning to tremble and bellow. Boom! In Lu Changxing's chi ocean core, the golden core burst forth with splendid radiant light. A black and a white yin-yang fish suddenly surged out, entering Ling Zixiao's body through his palm, suppressing her dragon roar origin. Woo! The dragon roar origin whined weakly, but was still very tenacious, forming a balance with this yin-yang source. Zixiao, well, continue later. Lu Changxing spoke out. He had just made a simple attempt. If they were to truly start reversing yin and yang, it would be more secure to assist with the dual cultivation secret method, with Lu Miaoge watching by his side. Thank you for your hard work, my lord. Ling Zixiao felt much more comfortable and relaxed at this moment, smiling lightly as she spoke. The two left the Changxing Hall and headed towards the Lu family mansion. Changxing, husband, daddy, Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaoyun were joyfully surprised upon seeing Lu Changxing. Currently in the Lu family, only Lu Miaoge, Xiaoxia, Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoyun, and Lu Miaohuan knew of Lu Changxing's core formation. The other wives and children all thought that Lu Changxing had been in closed-door cultivation or had gone out recently. Husband, did you really form your core? Moments later, latching onto Lu Changxing's wrist, Lu Miaoyun asked in a soft voice, her fresh and serene face beaming with joy, like a young girl. Hee, you have divine sense, just take a look and you'll know. Lu Changxing looked at his wife, who resembled a little girl, gently pinched her little nose, and said with a smile. Though broadcasting the matter of core formation wasn't appropriate, it was fine to let his beloved wife have a look. Upon hearing this, Lu Miao's divine sense entered Lu Changsheng's body unobstructed. She immediately saw within the Qi ocean core, at the center of the five-colored jade disc, a black and white, purple-golden gleaming golden core. This is the golden core? Lu Miaoyun observed the golden core. After a moment, she withdrew her divine sense, raised her beautiful head slightly, and with eyes full of admiration and adoration, looked at Lu Changsheng and said, I heard Sister Miaoga say that the husband has formed a first-grade golden core. Is this it? That's right. Lu Changsheng didn't speak of the great Dao golden core. After all, Hong Lian had mentioned that the idea of a great Dao golden core was just a concept, and its actual existence was uncertain. As expected of my husband, not only becoming a true pill master but also forming a first-grade golden core. Lu Miaoyun said joyfully like a little girl who had tasted honey, I've heard that there aren't many in the entire Jianghu country cultivation realm who have formed such golden cores. When she first married Lu Changsheng, he was just a little cultivator at the third-level energy refinement. She had never imagined that one day her own husband would become an elusive nascent soul immortal. However, having witnessed Lu Changsheng grow step by step over the years, and now practicing the heavenly longevity technique herself, she has put aside her early sensitivity, insecurities, and overthinking, taking joy and pride in her husband's achievements. There might not be many in the Jianghu country cultivation realm, but there are quite a few in the southern wilderness cultivation realm. And husband is just one step ahead. In the future, my Miaoyun will also become a nascent soul immortal. Lu Changsheng said with a light laugh. Normally, practicing the heavenly longevity technique to achieve core formation would take at least 100 years or two. But with the myriad spirits bottle, this time would be significantly reduced. Lu Miaoyun looked forward to such a day upon hearing this. Then she continued with a joyful smile, Husband, I heard that true pill masters often choose a Dao title. What do you plan to pick? I haven't thought about it yet, I plan to consider it later. Lu Changsheng said warmly. Upon achieving core formation, most cultivators would choose a Dao title. They are chosen based on cultivation techniques, names, aspirations, preferences, characteristics, etc., with no strict rules. However, there is a saying in the cultivation world. Your Dao title can influence your destiny. It can subtly guide a person's fortune, changing fate and fortune. Although such a concept is very vague, those who cultivate to the core formation stage all regard destiny and fortune with an attitude of better to believe it and be wrong than to disbelieve and be right. Lu Changsheng also chose to believe rather than disbelieve and planned to think about it when the time comes. Lu Miaoyun said with a smile, then told Lu Changsheng about some of the things that happened during his half-year of closed-door breakthrough. News came from the Azure Phoenix Immortal City that finally, a force was making a move against the city. With Azure Phoenix Immortal no longer presiding, the Azure Phoenix Immortal City was completely disorganized. Moreover, some high-level members of the Azure Phoenix Immortal City surely anticipated the situation and prepared in advance. However, driven by greed, many cultivators still perished in the turmoil. Rumors now suggest that the Azure Phoenix Immortal City's hierarchy has been replaced by a new group, with backing from the Shadow of Jianghu Country and Yu Country immortal sects. As for how things actually stand, that information was beyond the reach of Bihu Lake Mountain. A major cleansing in the Azure Phoenix Immortal City. Upon hearing this, Lu Changsheng's first thought was of Li Feiyu. The latter had written to him before, advising against going to the Azure Phoenix Immortal City, probably sensing the approach of this tumultuous day. He wondered how Li Feiyu fared amidst this upheaval. With such a drastic overhaul, it said that most who died were false core immortals or Foundation establishment peak cultivators. Li Feiyu should be fine. Chapter 1135, Wife, do you want to see my golden core? _4 Lu Miaoyun guessed that her husband was worried and spoke up to comfort him. Lu Changsheng nodded, without saying much. Husband, Xingyue and Yunlu had returned home a while ago. Lu Miaoyun continued, changing the subject. That year, Lu Changsheng sent a group of his children to the Qingyun sect for assessment. the pair of children entered the sect and now both are at the peak of qi refinement. Have them take on some sect tasks and go to the marketplace to hone themselves for a while. They should earn some spirit stones on their own. Our family will provide support when the time comes. Lu Changxing pondered for a moment before speaking. Both children, although at the peak of qi refinement, had only mediocre talent and comprehension. Without fortuitous opportunities, it would be very difficult for them to attempt foundation establishment in this lifetime. As their father, although he would provide opportunities, he also wanted them to put in some effort. It isn't possible to have the foundation establishment elixir and resources all prepared as soon as they reach the required realm. Not only would this easily lead to failure and breed spoiled prodigies, but whether they succeed or fail in foundation establishment, it would inevitably impact by Lake Mountain to some extent. Especially since the two have long been in the Qingyun sect. Lu Xingyue was better off, with the care of Xia Zhaoyang and Zhao Qingqing, and was close to his own family. Lu Yunlu, on the other hand, had a somewhat reclusive temperament, feeling less attached to the family. This was why many cultivation families rarely send their exceptionally talented offspring to immortal sects. Lu Miaoyun obediently responded. At this moment, Lu Changxing saw Lu Miaoga standing beside him in a white dress, her eyebrows and eyes smiling, brimming with maternal charm, and gently looking at him. Smiling, he said, "Sister Miaoga, would you like to see the golden core?" Sure. Lu Miaoga stepped forward tenderly and, through her divine sense, looked at Lu Changsheng's yin-yang great path golden core, expressing surprise and astonishment. Is this the immortal golden core? Golden cores are not identical. They vary according to each individual's cultivation technique, the patterns on the pill, and the color. But Lu Changsheng's golden core could be identified as extraordinary at first glance. After Lu Miaoga finished observing the golden core and they shared a tender moment, Lu Changxing went to find Xiaoxia. Due to matters related to core formation, Xiaoxia had been staying at Bai Lake Mountain and had not returned to the Qingyun sect. "Xiu, would you like to see the golden core?" Lu Changxing spoke to the cold and holy fairy, sharing the fruits of his joy with her. Immortal golden core. Xiaoxia stared at the golden core, her clear and moon-like beautiful eyes fixed. Even as the true inheritor of the immortal sects, a disciple of a nascent soul immortal, her ultimate goal had been to condense a high-quality golden core. Yet now, Lu Changxing had easily surpassed that goal. Speaking of which, Xiu, do you remember the problem with the cultivation technique I mentioned to you before? At that moment, Lu Changxing asked Xiaoxia. The condensation of the yin-yang great path golden core gave him additional thoughts about Xiaoxia's supreme forgetful love technique. He planned to influence Xiaoxia through soul fusion to see if he could solve the issues with her supreme forgetful love technique. Yes, I have been contemplating this for years and have also sought advice from my master, but to no avail. Xiaoxia spoke softly. Even with her superior talent and comprehension, she couldn't forge her own path based on the supreme forgetful love technique. No worries, I have a solution. Lu Changxing spoke confidently, sharing his thoughts with her. Moments later, the two arrived at Changxing Hall. Accompanied by the sound of rustling, the two began to engage in yin-yang soul fusion, entwining with each other. "Xiu, the sun-moon samsara technique," Lu Changxing immediately said. The two were already extremely proficient with this cultivation technique, although they had not reached small achievement, they were just one step away. As the technique circulated, they both gradually entered a state of desire without affection. A sacred radiance emerged from Lu Changsheng's forehead, illuminating Xiaoxia. Feeling it, Xiaoxia let go of her mental spirit, allowing the radiant glow of the sun to bathe her. However, when Lu Changsheng's divine sense and soul attempted to achieve soul fusion with Xiaoxia, he sensed an inaccessible coldness from within. This coldness did not come from Xiaoxia. It came from her supreme forgetful love technique. Just as I suspected. Lu Changxing had already anticipated that the coldness within Xiaoxia was due to the influence of the supreme forgetful love technique on her spirit and soul. Fortunately, the yin-yang creation scripture governed all laws, was compatible with everything, and inherently had a certain affinity, gradually encompassing Xiaoxia's cold soul and slowly merging it together. The moment their souls merged, Xianxia let out a soft moan. This was her first experience with a spiritual connection, feeling very mystical. Just like the first time Lu Changxing embraced her, her heart fluttered and trembled, and the supreme forgetful love technique involuntarily began to circulate. Yin and Yang resonate, with a common foundation, the way of creation, creating something from nothing. Endless information flowed into her consciousness, as if accommodating her supreme forgetful love technique. Chapter 1136, The Second Personality, Lu Wangshu breaks through. Changxing Hall, on the bed. Lu Changxing and Xianxia merged bodies and souls. At this moment, their spirits opened up to each other, engaging in the most pure and primal exchange of life. During this process, Lu Changxing vividly experienced the tangled emotions Xianxia felt between her love for him and her pursuit of the Tao. As the yin-yang creation scripture circulated continuously, their souls fused more deeply. In the deep recesses of Xiaoxia's divine soul sea, Lu Changxing seemed to see a woman. This woman was vague, appearing like a high and unattainable female immortal, exuding an aura of the merciless great Tao and the impartiality of heaven, making her unapproachable. Lu Changxing could clearly sense that the indifferent nature of Xiaoxia's soul originated from this. What's going on? Could practicing the supreme forgetful love technique gradually give rise to a second personality? Lu Changxing faintly made out that this vague woman was Xiaoxia. Or rather, this was the usually cold, noble, and pure Xiaoxia. He circulated the yin-yang creation scripture, deepened their soul fusion, and attempted to contact this female immortal. However, the hazy glow around this woman formed an invisible barrier, constantly resisting and repelling Lu Changxing, which made it hard for him to advance. Faced with this situation, Lu Changxing did not dare to force it. The soul is of great importance to a cultivator. A slight mishap could lead to some terrible event or consequence. After a while, Lu Changxing and Xiaoxia exited the state of soul fusion. Both felt an overwhelming spiritual desire and an inexplicable reluctance to part. Xiyu, I just saw a woman in the depths of your soul. Lu Changxing held Xiaoxia's delicate and smooth body, the plump and slick body filling his palms, as he spoke of what just transpired. A woman? Xiaoxia's face blushed, full of sprightly spring charm and incomparable beauty, unaware of the situation. She only knew that when the supreme forgetful love technique operated, she would indeed enter a state devoid of desire and emotion. Or rather, except when with Lu Changxing, she spent most of her time in that state. However, she realized that just now her supreme forgetful love technique had spun out of control uncontrollably, exhibiting the same thrill as when she first cultivated with Lu Changxing. I suspect this is the main reason why practicing the supreme forgetful love technique affects one's disposition. However, the soul is of great importance. I dare not probe it rashly. It requires your active cooperation, Xiyu. If we could closely contact this soul state, I believe it potentially resolves the issues of supreme forgetfulness, said Lu Changxing. The sun-moon samsara technique needs a small achievement before spiritual intercourse can occur. Currently, Xiaoxia's sun-moon samsara technique has not reached the level of small achievement, so she can only passively participate in the soul fusion, unable to respond actively. Therefore, Lu Changxing plans to wait until each other's techniques achieve small success, and together, they would circulate the techniques to break the soul barrier. All right, Xiaoxia, with a cool yet charming glance and softly enticing voice, responded. In that case, let's make use of this time to cultivate the sun-moon samsara technique more. Lu Changxing looked at the enticing and beautiful Xiaoxia before him and immediately suggested. The cultivation of a technique such as the sun-moon samsara technique cannot be achieved overnight. One can only advance through continuous daily cultivation until it naturally comes to fruition. Thus, Lu Changxing did not indulge in distractions, planning to primarily focus on condensing the Tai Dao seed in the coming time. Lu Miaoge had passed the Tai Dao seed to him, not only causing him to be in a weakened state, he also couldn't cultivate during this period. Moreover, he needed to solve the issue of Ling Zixio's dragon roar physique, and required Lu Miaoge to act as the protector by his side. Besides, Lu Changxing did not forget about his daughter, Lu Wangshu, encouraging her to adjust her state and prepare for the foundation establishment. Dad, it's just establishing the foundation, I've long been ready, there's no need to spend more time preparing. Lu Wangshu blinked her eyes, her smile bright and flawless, confidently speaking. In her early years, she was somewhat eager and nervous about the foundation establishment. But as time passed, she gradually came to view it with equanimity. Moreover, being constantly praised by Lu Changsheng, saying things like, "My daughter Wang Shu has the qualifications of a true immortal, a perfect foundation base, the golden core is foreseeable, the best talisman cultivator in Jianghu country," made her somewhat believe in herself, thinking that such a minor foundation establishment could be done in the blink of an eye. "Wang Shu, foundation establishment is very important," Xiaoxia voiced her concern from the side. These days she had been staying at Bihu Lake Mountain, wanting to wait until her daughter had established her foundation before returning. "Mom, rest assured." Lu Wangshu looped her arm around her mother's wrist, playfully speaking. Seeing this, Xiaoxia did not say much more, only giving a few pointers about the foundation establishment. Then the three of them headed to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Lu Wangshu sat cross-legged under her parents' watchful eyes, closed her eyes, focused her mind, and began to prepare for foundation establishment. Shiyu. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng took out a jade flute, ready to perform a duet with Xiaoxia. An act to nurture their emotions, a joy for husband and wife. Also, it was through the mastery of music that they cleansed their daughter's soul. Soon, one held the flute to the lips, the other's delicate hands played the strings. The sound of the zither arose, gentle and profound like a babbling stream, while the flute's melody was like a valley breeze, ethereal and deep. When the sound of the zither and the flute intertwined, it seemed like mountain streams meeting, immersing the soul as if one was in a world full of bird songs and floral scents, utterly poetic and picturesque. Lu Wangshu felt her mental spirit calm and content under such music. Her spiritual power flowed more smoothly and naturally, and she even felt on the verge of breaking through on her own. She opened her eyes, ready to start her breakthrough. But seeing her parents performing together, gazing at each other with affectionate eyes, she couldn't help but feel annoyed. Aren't my parents supposed to be protectors helping me establish the foundation? How come they look so amorously devoted to each other, making me feel like an outsider, totally out of place? Chapter 1137, What's the matter, Wang Shu? After a moment, Xiaoxia noticed her daughter pouting while looking at herself and Lu Changsheng, and gently asked. Mom, I'm ready. I'm beginning my breakthrough. Lu Wangshu knew that her parents rarely had time together and didn't behave oddly. Break through peacefully, the gift for your foundation establishment from Dad is already prepared. Lu Changsheng knew his daughter was sensitive to elegance, chuckled softly, patted her little head, and spoke warmly. Thank you, Daddy. Lu Wangshu immediately smiled radiantly, then took the foundation establishment elixir, and started her foundation establishment breakthrough. The 3 challenges of foundation establishment were a breeze for Lu Wangshu. She had her physical body baptized in medicinal baths since her childhood and was now at the 5th layer of the 100 Refinements treasure body art. Thus, although she seemed like a delicate girl, a single punch from her was enough to terrify countless people. In terms of mana, she cultivated the 99 mystical talisman scripture, which perfectly matched her blood talisman spiritual body. Moreover, she was fed heavenly and earthly treasures by Lu Changsheng over the years, using the 7 luminaries heart lamp to condense her foundation, making it incredibly robust. As for her divine sense, it was also successfully cultivated through heavenly and earthly treasures with the Purple Mansion Nurturing Spirit technique 5 years ago. So, these 3 foundation challenges posed absolutely no difficulty to Lu Wangshu. Not long after, she perfectly transcended the 3 challenges and began to condense her Tao foundation. Sar the novel, F. Iyer. Enter website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Nature's spiritual energy surged torrentially towards Lu Wangshu, forming a spiritual energy vortex several tens of meters across. Facing this situation, inside Lu Wangshu, it was as if there were a tsunami roaring continuously. Seeing this scene, both Lu Changsheng and Xiaoxia revealed smiles of relief in their eyes. Qi refinement to foundation establishment can be generally judged by spiritual pressure and the spiritual energy vortex. In the case of their daughter, one might say, unless something unexpected happens, she's likely to form a perfect foundation base. Mount Sumeru. Lu Changxing called out, asking Mount Sumeru to increase the spiritual pressure for his daughter. With the yin-yang creation scripture operating, within the Qi ocean core, the Tao gold core burst forth with 10,000 zhang of divine light, brilliant and dazzling, with the yin-yang fish from the yin-yang great path golden core circling around. Wang Shu, don't get distracted. Lu Changxing spoke, transmitting this yin-yang source into his daughter's body. Boom! As Lu Changxing condensed the golden core, the effectiveness of this yin-yang qi increased tenfold or more. After entering Lu Wangshu's elixir lake, it caused her spiritual power to boil and roar. If it weren't for Lu Wangshu's second-order body refining, it might have been hard to withstand such spiritual energy flooding her body. Despite this, Lu Wangshu's delicate and flawless face showed a trace of pain, causing Xiao Xian nearby much distress. Lu Changxing kept his divine sense focused on his daughter the whole time. The 99 mystical talisman scripture is different from most cultivation techniques. During breakthrough to foundation establishment, it allows the condensing of comprehended spiritual patterns on the Dao platform, enhancing the foundation. Thus, he closely monitored his daughter throughout to avoid any accidents or mistakes. And time slowly passed this way. A month later, Lu Wangshu successfully achieved a breakthrough in foundation establishment. The process went very smoothly without any mishaps. Dad, Mom. Lu Wangshu opened her eyes. Her radiant cheeks now had a touch more tranquility, elegance, and literate charm. Hee, congratulations to my daughter, Fairy Wangshu, for breaking through foundation establishment and condensing the perfect Dao foundation. Golden core is now within reach. Lu Changxing heartily congratulated. Wangshu, congratulations on your breakthrough in foundation establishment. Xiao Xia stepped forward to gently stroke her daughter's hair, speaking tenderly. Hee, it's just a small foundation establishment. Lu Wangshu's delicate chin lifted slightly as she playfully said. She planned to beat up Lu Lingxiao later. This younger brother had actually challenged her when he broke through to the 9th level of energy refinement. Luckily, she had a talisman by her side, easily suppressing him. Otherwise, where would her dignity as an older sister stand? Now that she had broken through to foundation establishment, as a good sister, she naturally needed to concern herself with her brother, to let him know what a perfect Dao foundation is, the gap between Qi refinement and foundation establishment, and thereby motivate him to cultivate diligently. Otherwise, by the time Lu Lingxiao reached foundation establishment, she wouldn't have the chance anymore. Wangshu, this is the gift your mother prepared for you. Xiao Xia took out a delicately beautiful brocade box from her storage bag. She had prepared the gifts for her daughter long ago. Thank you, Mom. Lu Wangshu was delighted, hugged her mother, kissed her on the cheek, then looked at Lu Changxing, adorably calling out, Daddy. She knew well that compared to her mom, her old dad's treasures were endless, like cracking open lucky eggs. Consolidate your cultivation well, it'll give you more later. Lu Changxing flicked her forehead lightly, to avoid her getting distracted by other things after receiving the gifts. Dad, I told you not to knock on my head. Lu Wangshu wrinkled her little nose and complained sweetly. All right. Lu Changxing then pinched her delicate cheeks. Watching her daughter break through foundation establishment and begin to consolidate her realm, Xiao Xia left by Lake Mountain the next day, returning to Qingyun sect. Lu Changxing also started his closed-door cultivation to condense the Tai Dao seed. But before starting to condense the Tai Dao seed, he casually erased the imprint from the profound origin bead. He initially thought of using this bead as a family heirloom. Now he plans to give it to his daughter, Lu Wangshu. One reason is that this object doesn't merit being a family heirloom. Another is Lu Wangshu cultivates the 99 mystical talisman scripture. Indeed, this exotic treasure suits her well and could elevate her combat capability significantly. Wangshu's situation really does somewhat resemble mine in my younger days. At that moment, Lu Changxing stroked his chin, suddenly realizing his daughter Lu Wangshu's combat abilities and means were somewhat like a weaker version of himself. Second-rank talisman master. second-order body refining. Perfect foundation base. Main combat capability comes from Talisman C tactics. And she has several puppets by her side. I'm renowned for my talisman path. The family indeed should have a talismanic genius, otherwise, it would seem as though we lack successors. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1138, Lu Changxing let out a light chuckle, closing his eyes to fully concentrate on condensing the Tai Dao seed. 3 months later. In the cave mansion, Lu Changxing sat cross-legged, circulating the Tai seed way art, his hands continuously forming gesture incantations. S.E.A. the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Boom, boom, boom. His body surged with blood and qi, mana flowing throughout, the yin-yang 5 elements foundation base, and yin-yang great path golden core vibrating constantly. Humming, within the qi ocean core, the yin-yang fish continued to draw from Lu Changxing's Dao foundation and golden core origin source. Under the nourishing flood of the world's spiritual energy, a seed about the size of a thumb, half liquid and half solid, with black and white qi flowing throughout its golden form, gradually took shape. This second-grade spiritual vein is really tough to endure. Ordinary early-stage core formation cultivators at least train in third-rank lower-grade spirit veins. With a golden core like mine, so many people in the family, the best would be third-grade medium quality, high quality, to top-tier spirit veins. Lu Changxing exhaled deeply, shaking his head wearily. Now, condensing the Tai Dao seed was not as difficult as the first time. But the family's spirit vein was seriously affecting his progress. The process also required restoration of mana through spirit stones, which was truly stifling. This intensified Lu Changxing's already urgent desire to excavate spirit veins in the Myriad Beasts mountain range. However, in Lu Changxing's view, to nurture the spirit vein to third-order superior, top tier, would rely on whether the system would be strong enough or not. Simply by intercepting the spiritual vein origin, nurturing the spirit vein was too hard. After taking a long while to regulate his breathing, Lu Changxing sought out Lu Miaoge, indicating that his Dao seed had already condensed. Changxing, you've worked hard. Lu Miaoge's tone was tender as water. Passing the Tai Dao seed to Lu Changxing would leave her weakened for a long time. Likewise, Lu Changxing planting the Dao seed for her would deplete his origin source, necessitating rest. Sister Miaoge is speaking as if we are strangers. Lu Changxing smiled, gazing at her serene and snowy countenance in front of him. He reached out to embrace Lu Miaoge's fragrant shoulders and captured her rosy lips. A warm, slippery, and sweet fragrance spilled between their lips and teeth. Afterward, Lu Changxing operated the Tai seed way art, slowly transferring the Tai Dao seed from his qi ocean core into Lu Miaoge's mouth. As soon as the Tai Dao seed entered Lu Miaoge's mouth, it instantly spread currents of warmth, traversing her meridians, warming her muscles, meridians, and dantian. At the same time, Lu Miaoge's water of virtue technique began to operate on its own, generating an invisible spiritual pressure that swept and converged the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Lu Changxing immediately realized that Lu Miaoge was about to break through. But this was perfectly normal. Lu Miaoge had broken through to the 5th layer of foundation establishment years ago. It was just that she had been distracted by her son, Lu Qingxian, and neglected her cultivation in recent years. Boom! The moment the Tai Dao seed entered Lu Miaoge's qi ocean core, her elixir lake seemed to fill up, boiling and surging. Her foundation establishment 5th layer cultivation level instantly broke through to the foundation establishment 6th layer. Sister Miaoge. Lu Changxing didn't linger over the sweetness in his mouth and reminded Lu Miaoge to quickly integrate the Dao seed. Lu Miaoge's skin glowed, not daring to delay. She fully operated the water of virtue technique. Lu Changxing also circulated the Tai seed way art to assist her in integrating the Dao seed. Having previously transmitted the Tai Dao seed to Lu Changxing for breakthrough, integrating this Dao seed now harmonized even better for Lu Miaoge. During the integration process, she could clearly feel a majestic and vast qi surging through her limbs, seemingly consolidating her Dao foundation a bit more. Is this the Dao seed of an immortal golden core? A mix of astonishment and wonder filled Lu Miaoge's heart, as she keenly felt the difference between this golden core Dao seed and the previous foundation establishment Dao seed. With this golden core Dao seed, not only were her foundation and cultivation talent further enhanced, it would also greatly help her future venture into core formation, increasing her chances by several fold. After a long time, Lu Miaoge merged the Tai Dao seed with her Dao foundation, completely elevating her essence, qi, and spirit. Even her freshly broken through foundation establishment's 6th layer cultivation level made significant progress. Sister Miaoge. Lu Changsheng looked at his wife, beautiful as an icy snow lotus, and called out in a low voice. Speaking, he leaned in with a warm breath, capturing her reddened, moist lips, a light fragrance as sweet as lotus blossoms wafting through the air. Lu Miaoge's lips were soft as she hummed contently, closed her eyes, and wrapped her arms around Lu Changsheng, gently responding to him. By Yun Peak. Lu Changsheng stood with his daughter, Lu Wangshu, at the peak, gazing out at the vast and mist-enshrouded by Shui Lake. Your father once established Bai Lake Mountain by using the talisman path to vanquish 3 foundation establishment great cultivators from the Yu family. Although Bai Lake Mountain is still a corner of Jianghu country, the heart is as vast as the world it holds. Therefore, your father believes that one day, our Lu family will stand at the pinnacle of the cultivation world. Lu Changsheng, dressed in a green robe, stood tall and graceful, like a plant in full bloom, speaking in a warm voice. I also believe there will come such a day. Lu Wangshu didn't quite grasp what her father meant but obediently agreed with a naive face. So, this is the gift from your father to you. Lu Changsheng gestured towards the front as he spoke out. Lu Wangshu blinked, puzzled by what her father meant. She then wrinkled her nose and tentatively asked, Dad, are you saying that you want me to inherit Bai Lake Mountain? Lu Changsheng. Your father is telling you that the heart is as vast as the world, so the gift I am giving you is this world, this piece of heaven and earth. You can soar freely in this world, with no restrictions. Lu Changsheng patted his daughter's head, saying earnestly. After a long silence, Lu Wangshu looked up at her father and said, Dad, you've changed. You've become stingy and shameless. Your gift is gone. Lu Changsheng flicked his daughter's smooth forehead. No, Daddy, I know you are the best, I really like this gift. Lu Wangshu, of course, knew her father was joking. Snuggling affectionately on her father's arm, she cooed, but this world is so dangerous, what if your precious daughter encounters danger, then you'll never see me again. Lu Wangshu, you really are shameless. Lu Changsheng shook his head and laughed. With a slight lift of his hand, a treasure bead the size of an egg, shining with deep blue luster, appeared in his palm. This treasure is called the Profound Origin Bead, able to autonomously absorb the nature's spiritual energy, store it, and after refinement, it's like a cultivator's second dantian, and it can also increase one's small realm. Lu Changsheng announced. A second dantian, increasing a small realm. Lu Wangshu looked at the Profound Origin Bead, her clear and bright eyes shining with sparkling light. Although she hadn't ventured out much, her knowledge was not lacking. She understood what this simple description entailed. Yes, as for the effects, you'll know after you refine it. Lu Changsheng smiled. Whoa, I knew Daddy, you are the best, the most affectionate towards me. Lu Wangshu instantly put on a facial expression that was both close to the heart and obedient, her voice dripping with sweetness. There is also this talismanic weapon, the 99 Mysterious True Strategy, which is comprised of 10,080 Xuanjin talismans. It's also your father's renowned treasure, and now I am passing it on to you, hoping you will not let down the reputation of our Bai Lake Mountain. Lu Changsheng handed over the early crafted 99 Mysterious True Strategy to his daughter. Dad, if you give it to me, what will you do? Lu Wangshu's long, dense eyelashes fluttered like small fans that could touch one's heart. It's okay, the future belongs to your generation, and it doesn't matter to your father. Lu Changxing stroked his daughter's head, his expression one of tender fatherly love. Dad, rest assured, I will definitely not tarnish your reputation. Lu Wangshu nodded firmly in response and quickly stowed the 99 mysterious true strategy. Afterward, Lu Changxing and Lu Wangshu headed to the Lu family mansion, asking Lu Xingyang to send a message to Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong to meet them at Bai Lake Mountain. He planned to inquire about their ideas concerning the trade association and to start making progress in that area. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1139, Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, Changxing Hall. Lu Changxing, holding the ancient beast taming charm, sat cross-legged, preparing to use the sun-moon samsara technique to nourish Hong Lian's soul. The ancient beast taming charm emitted flowing luminescence, countless tiny crimson specks surged forth, eventually forming a figure, a woman wearing a magnificent pearl crown and a red palace dress with a long robe. Her form and features were faint and hazy, making it hard to discern her appearance. But this vague haze in no way concealed her peerless grace. She possessed a divine, majestic aura befitting someone of high station, the dignified elegance of a mature woman, and an ethereal, lofty detachment that seemed within sight yet beyond reach. Even after so many years, seeing Hong Lian still caused Lu Changxing to feel a slight thrill. Thank you for your trouble, young master. Hong Lian was well aware that given Lu Changxing's current state of soul, it would be difficult for him to be of much assistance to her. However, this was the first time Lu Changxing had made such a request, and she had her suspicions, so she was quite at ease. There's no need for such politeness. Over the years, you have worked hard for my sake, and I have yet to do anything for you. Lu Changxing said with a smile, activating the sun-moon samsara technique. A sun will appeared between his eyebrows, casting a divine golden radiance that illuminated the faint form of Hong Lian. Faced with this effulgence, flames of a fiery red color flowed on Hong Lian's skin. She resembled a resplendent phoenix, not quite a phoenix, a vermilion bird, divine bird, which willingly bathed in the glow of the sun. Squawk. The vermilion bird sang long and mournfully, enwrapped in flames, bathing in the sun's light, where the fiery gold flames and the golden sun mingled willingly. In an instant, a peculiar sensation arose in Lu Changxing's heart. It felt as if he were embracing Hong Lian, their skin touching, blending harmoniously, warm and comfortable as if floating into an ethereal realm, absolutely enchanting. Is this a nascent soul, true lord? Even a mere remnant soul is so astonishing. Lu Changxing thought with surprise. He realized that even in her weakened and depleted condition, Hong Lian's soul was beyond comparison to an ordinary nascent soul immortal. If Hong Lian were willing to risk soul dispersal, she arguably could possess the power to suppress a core formation. Currently engaging in soul fusion with her, even with the protection of Mount Sumeru, was akin to standing under a precarious wall. Yet having the life-substituting talisman, Lu Changxing was fearless, dedicating his whole heart to dual cultivation with Hong Lian, and using his mana origin to nourish her soul. Their souls collided and melded seamlessly. Around the vermilion bird bountiful fiery red Tao patterns flowed, transforming into profound and arcane truths. This was Hong Lian transmitting her understanding of the great Tao to Lu Changxing through a soulful communion. As long as Lu Changxing earnestly apprehended these insights, he could learn from them, saving much wandering on his future path of cultivation. During this process, Hong Lian also opened up the spiritual consciousness contained within her soul to Lu Changxing, enabling him to clearly sense every subtle thought in her heart. Hong Lian, with his eyes closed, Lu Changxing captured many of Hong Lian's thoughts and feelings, including those threads and wisps of heartfelt submission. In this silent communion, a charming, delicate, and subtle invisible thread of emotion gently entwined around Lu Changxing, softening his heart. Men are often easily moved, easily touched. Especially with a woman like Hong Lian, exceedingly beautiful, of noble status, and extraordinarily talented, offering herself so openly, revealing her emotions, how could he not be moved? Throughout this process, Lu Changxing also caught many of Hong Lian's thoughts and speculations about him. The Dragon Emperor body, Central State Holy King, reincarnated true immortal, this really confused Lu Changxing. He never expected Hong Lian to have indulged in such wild fantasies. One could only say, the more one knows, the more complicated one's thoughts become. Seeing Hong Lian express her feelings so candidly, Lu Changxing also realized that she had guessed his intentions, so she cooperated willingly, showing her feelings, her sincerity. It's so comfortable to deal with a clever person. Lu Changxing sighed inwardly. Although he had a bit of male chauvinism, he didn't mind at all if the wives and concubines in his home were smart and capable. A simple and sweet girl might evoke a sense of protection and cherish. Yet, a woman like Hong Lian ignited his desire to conquer. Time passed by slowly. Although Lu Changxing's soul nourishing could not greatly aid Hong Lian, the dual soul cultivation caused by her initiative led to a delightful heartfelt thrill, surpassing even corporeal desires. Thus, both of their souls continued to merge, sticking closely to each other, reluctant to part. It was unclear how much time had passed before Lu Changxing slowly awoke from the union of souls with a feeling of reluctant parting. He silently sighed. Indeed, it held true that if you feel very comfortable with someone, it indicates they are on a higher level than you. Hong Lian, you have worked hard. Lu Changxing looked at the faint form of Hong Lian and spoke. Originally, he planned to use the soul fusion to nourish Hong Lian's soul. Yet it turned into a session of dual soul cultivation, from which he gained some benefits. However, after this communion, Lu Changxing felt closer to, and more accepting of, Hong Lian. He knew that while she had her purposes, she was genuinely heartfelt and sincere. Young master, you are too polite. Such a communion could fill both parties with a spirit of desire, promoting fondness. Sarch ** the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But being a nascent soul true lord, the impact on Hong Lian was not significant. The previous communion of souls was not a mere act, it was truly sincere and heartfelt. Hong Lian, I once promised you that I would reshape a body for you. At present, I do have something that could be used as a physical body, you can see if it's suitable. Lu Changxing did not beat around the bush and spoke directly. There's a saying, if she's inexperienced in the ways of the world, show her its myriad splendors. If her heart has been weathered by experience, take her to ride the merry-go-round. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1140, Women like Hong Lian, who have been through much, know many things by heart and see them very clearly. It is nearly impossible to win her over with romance and conventional tactics. Hence, it's better to be straightforward. Simply follow the train of thought she imagines, let her be puzzled, and she will unravel it on her own. Moreover, deep down, a great cultivator like Hong Lian actually harbors a bit of admiration for the strong. Once I grow strong enough, she will naturally admire and submit to me wholeheartedly. Hong Lian blinked in surprise, not expecting Lu Changxing to possess a spirit object capable of reconstructing physical bodies. Although she believed Lu Changxing would recreate a body for her, she assumed that it would take centuries. She immediately realized that Lu Changxing must have possessed such a heaven and earth spirit object for a while. But earlier, due to a lack of trust in her, he did not present it directly. The recent soul fusion was also a test and a probe of her. Thank you, young master. Hong Lian said softly, knowing that she had passed Lu Changxing's test. Let's go, it'll take you to see. Holding the ancient beast taming charm, Lu Changxing and Hong Lian walked out of the Changxing Hall, then he called out, Mount Sumru. As his voice fell, a gigantic withered log appeared in the cave heaven. The log was charred throughout, clearly a stump without a crown or branches. On the trunk, there were 9 crystal clear, brilliantly charming peach blossoms, as if carved from jade, emitting a strong, heartening fragrance. This is, Hong Lian had barely laid eyes on the peachwood spirit womb in front of her, her soul trembling slightly, her beautiful eyes showing surprise, amazement, and doubt as she studied the spirit womb. Moments later, she looked at Lu Changxing with disbelief and asked, Young master, is this a spiritual embryo of heaven and earth? She had only heard of the spiritual embryo of heaven and earth, never having seen it before. Thus, seeing the peachwood spirit womb in front of her, she was extremely astonished, even somewhat hesitant to believe it. That's right, this tree was originally a 10,000-year peach god tree that fell during its transformation tribulation. However, by a twist of fate, it spawned a smidgen of spiritual mechanism under the heavenly tribulation and conceived a spiritual embryo. Now, after tens of thousands of years of growth, the spiritual embryo has reached the 4th rank, transformed into an external incarnation and Dao soldier, possessing directly a 3rd rank cultivation level. With sufficient cultivation of heavenly and earthly treasures, it can grow to a 4th rank cultivation level in about a century. What do you think of this spiritual embryo as your body? Lu Changxing said with a light smile, his expression serene. 10,000-year peach god wood, heaven and earth spiritual embryo, 4th rank in a century. Hong Lian, hearing such words, was shaken to the core, her expression somewhat bewildered. She hadn't expected that the log before her was truly a heaven and earth spiritual embryo. And a 4th rank one at that. One must know, spiritual embryos are extremely rare, belonging to the top-tier spiritual objects used in creating external incarnations. The value of a 4th rank spiritual embryo is immeasurable. And now, Lu Changxing was offering such an exceptionally rare heaven and earth spiritual embryo to her as a body. At this moment, Hong Lian didn't know what to say. She was both shocked by Lu Changxing's generous move and deeply touched. Fortunate that Su Rian encountered Lu Changxing. Fortunate for her own decision to follow Lu Changxing. Otherwise, even with Su Rian's exceptional talents and the ancient beast-taming charm, the reconstruction of her own body would be no easy task, requiring centuries of waiting. Even after reconstructing a body, having a body sculpted from a 4th rank spiritual embryo would be unheard of. With this spiritual embryo as a body, not only could she return to her peak in the shortest time possible, but she could also have the chance to further advance on the great Tao, eyeing the realm that seems just a step away, yet as vast as a chasm. Hong Lian thanks the young master. Hong Lian, shining bright as a gem, looked at Lu Changxing with her flawless eyes and gave a deep bow. Although she had lowered her posture before Lu Changxing for decades, she had never bowed with such reverence. In this moment, she truly recognized Lu Changxing. The true Spirit Tree King, the Dragon Emperor body, the twin top-level spiritual bodies, the Great Tao Golden Core, the Heaven and Earth spiritual embryo, all these made her believe that Lu Changxing was a reincarnation of a true immortal. Such a being, willing to treat her sincerely, what does it matter if she is but a maidservant? Moreover, it is only because Lu Changxing has not yet grown up that I have this opportunity. Once he grows up, such an opportunity would certainly not be my turn. It seems you are quite pleased with this body. Lu Changxing spoke with a laugh, very satisfied with Hong Lian's current attitude. Knowing that he had provided the spiritual embryo of heaven and earth to the other party as a body, he guessed that she was probably mentally filling in the blanks. Sir has granted such a heavenly and earthly spiritual embryo to Hong Lian for body sculpting, for which I cannot repay. In the future, I will follow the Sir's orders. Hong Lian directly established a great Tao oath. She knew that Lu Changxing had given her such a benefit for a reason. This intention, she also had a rough idea. But asking her to pledge her body in return, to be a slave or maid, still felt a bit strange. What if Lu Changxing didn't have this idea? What if he simply needed her to hold down the fort for the family, or to hire a mentor for his children? Heh, Hong Lian, you are taking your words too seriously. Since you have chosen to follow me, naturally, I will not treat you unfairly. In the future, just treat Bai Lake Mountain as your own home. When you return to your peak, if you wish to investigate the matters of the past in Northern Desolate Cultivation Realm, I can also help you. Lu Changxing, in his green robe, his face handsome, spoke with a smile. Hong Lian had confided to him about her fall, so he didn't mind offering her another promise. Thank you, sir. Hong Lian, with her incomparably beautiful appearance and noble temperament, inspired a sense of self-deprecation and daring not to defile. But at this moment, she was bowing like a maid, performing a graceful courtesy. This spiritual embryo has not yet conceived a conscious soul. You can reside in it with your soul, allowing the spiritual embryo to grow according to your wishes. Once the spiritual embryo has grown and is fixed in form, you can take the soul fusion resurrection elixir and fuse soul with life. Lu Changxing handed over the soul fusion resurrection elixir from his storage ring to Hong Lian. At the moment, Hong Lian's condition was very poor, merely a remnant soul, unable to refine the spiritual embryo. This soul fusion resurrection elixir could help her soul perfectly combine with the spiritual embryo, unifying spirit and flesh, and also nurture her soul. Many thanks, sir. Hong Lian received the soul fusion resurrection elixir, looking at the peachwood spirit womb in front of her with a somewhat dreamy and bewildered expression. Feeling that all of this came too simply, too unrealistically. She bowed toward Lu Changxing again, her soul slowly winding around the peachwood spirit womb. Through the 9 blossoming peach flowers, her soul gradually seeped in, making contact with the embryo inside. Buzz, as Hong Lian's soul entered the spiritual embryo, she immediately felt a placenta with an exceedingly pure consciousness inside. As Lu Changxing had said, this baby within the placenta had yet no consciousness or soul. Only pure flesh and blood, a heart, thump 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 beating, surging with an astonishingly powerful qi. Without hesitation, Hong Lian's soul resided in the placenta. Boom! In an instant, a pure, rich, vast and boundless life force engulfed her soul. Her whole being was like an infant in a womb, bathed in warmth and nourishment, immensely comfortable. Having been a remnant soul all these years, Hong Lian had always relied on the ancient beast taming charm to maintain her state and stabilize her form. But now, this spiritual embryo not only had the effect of stabilizing her form but also nurtured her soul. Hong Lian felt that if she were to reside in the spiritual embryo for hundreds or thousands of years, it might be possible for her soul to recover. Sarch ** the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Sir, I need some time to let the spiritual embryo take shape. Hong Lian, exhilarated, transmitted her thoughts to Lu Changxing. No rush, you slowly fuse. When the spiritual embryo is formed, let Mount Sumer notify me. Lu Changxing knew that this process of formation would take years, and so he was not in a hurry. Once the spiritual embryo was resided in by Hong Lian, the withered tree with 9 translucent, jade-like peach flowers diffused a rich fragrance, akin to a heavenly spirit medicine. Once a heavenly and earthly spirit object is resided by a soul and tainted by other auras, it cannot continue to grow, and a spiritual mechanism would emerge. These spiritual mechanisms were very pure and dense, providing significant help to the growth of spiritual medicine. Lu Changxing immediately moved the peachwood spirit womb next to the medicine garden, looking forward to the day when Hong Lian would emerge. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1141. Lu Changxing looked at the peachwood spirit womb before him and then at the ancient beast taming charm in his hand, when he suddenly realized a problem. This ancient beast taming charm, he couldn't use it. Now, Hong Lian, who was in charge of the charm, needed to merge with the spirit womb. What should he do about the Blackwater Jiaolongdao troops, green jade luan bird, cold blue dark turtle, and iron-eating beast within the charm? Hong Lian, what should I do if I want to use this ancient beast taming charm in the future? Lu Changxing asked the peachwood spirit womb. Creatures like the green jade luan bird, cold blue dark turtle, and iron-eating beast were alright as they could be kept in the charm for a long time. But the Blackwater Jiaolongdao troops needed regular feeding, with Bai Ling casting the Blackwater dragon spell, refining them through black dragon power. Young master, Lu Qinsha practices a beast technique that can activate this ancient beast taming charm. Young master, if you want to release the Dao soldiers and spiritual beasts from the charm, you can let Qinsha do it. Hong Lian's light and pleasant voice came from the spirit womb. Beast technique? Lu Changxing was somewhat surprised upon hearing this. He had just learned that one could use this ancient beast taming charm by cultivating the beast technique. If that was the case, by transforming his mana into a beast technique through the Yin Yang creation classic, could he not also use the ancient beast taming charm? It's worth a try. Lu Changxing pondered in his mind. The only problem, as a profound mystery-level technique, the beast technique had a significant threshold. Even with his current talent and vision, comprehending this technique to fluidly transform mana into the beast technique would take considerable time. Alright, you rest and nourish the embryo. Lu Changxing said to Hong Lian and walked out of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Sir, the novel _fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Planning to have his son, Lu Qinsha, come over and try activating the ancient beast taming charm. My husband. At this moment, Lu Miaoyun saw Lu Changxing and informed him that Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong had returned. Oh. Have them come see me. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing immediately responded. A short while later, a man of around 30, with heroic and authoritative features, a tall and upright build, dressed in a green robe, and a woman of 28 or 29, fairly beautiful with a hint of heroic spirit, entered the hall. Pleased to see you, father, aunt. Lu Qingsong and Lu Rui, looking at Lu Changxing sitting at the principal seat in his green robe, exceptionally handsome, gave their respects with clasped hands. Not knowing if it was an illusion, they unconsciously felt that their father seemed even more detached than before. Even though he was right in front of them, he felt very distant. You should know why I asked you to come back, right? Lu Changxing habitually leaned against the back of his chair, playing with the ancient beast taming charm with his slender jade-like palms. Father, are you referring to the matter about the business association? Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong exchanged glances and respectfully spoke. Although their father was usually very mild-mannered and never showed any rage, being in a high position and living a privileged life, he still possessed an undeniable authority. Inquiring about important matters in such a calm and gentle tone still made Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong a bit nervous. The family business has already reached its bottleneck. Now that Pingan, Qingxian, Rui, and Wang Shu have all achieved foundation establishment, in my view, we can also establish a business association to expand our family business. This time I called you over to hear your thoughts and if you have a rough draft for the bylaws. Lu Changxing, playing with the ancient beast taming charm in one hand and lightly tapping on the armrest of his chair with another, said with a smile. After exchanging glances, Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong spoke up. Father, about the business association, Qingsong and I have a basic understanding from these years. If our family were to establish a business association, the main advantages would be our puppet business, as well as advanced talismans and elixir medicines. But relying solely on puppets, talismans, and elixir medicines to expand the business and support the association might be somewhat difficult, so the main profits still need to be focused on the trade teams. Lu Rui spoke crisply in this manner. Although Blue Lake Mountain Lu family had a prominent reputation in the Qingyun region, this reputation didn't necessarily translate into product sales. Even though the cost-effectiveness of Lu family's puppets was fairly good, competing and surviving in the great marketplaces still posed certain challenges. Furthermore, when expanding the business, the family's production lines would also need to expand, requiring more raw materials and manpower. These things couldn't be achieved overnight and required a cyclic and gradual process. Thus, faced with such circumstances, Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong thought like most forces. By forming trade teams, planning trade routes, and engaging in transactions with smaller families along the way, they would establish the reputation and good standing of the family. In the process, by buying low and selling high or through simple collaborations with some small families, they could earn spirit stones. This was also a common operating model for many business associations in their early stages. After all, with the vast cultivation world, many clan cultivators might never travel far in their whole lives. With no marketplaces nearby, their only option would be to passively accept the high prices set by far-traveling trade teams. Trade teams, Lu Changxing nodded slightly, acknowledging the practice in the cultivation world. Ordinarily, traveling to the various giant marketplaces, or the Immortal City, one would see many teams of beasts forming trade groups. They earned their spirit stones by traveling all over, buying low and selling high, or finding bargains. Once they had sufficient capital, they would purchase stores in the great marketplaces or Immortal City and establish a business association. The only problem is, our Blue Lake Mountain has risen too quickly and is envied by many family forces. If we establish a business association and set up trade teams to start trading, there might be significant obstacles. At this moment, Lu Qingsong spoke gravely. Although the name of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family was quite significant, its meteoric rise in just a few decades made many family forces apprehensive. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1142. These family forces will definitely not say anything overtly, maintaining harmony, as everyone earns money together. But in secret, they can't wait for Bai Lake Mountain to die off, and will not sit idly by as it continues to develop, surely causing trouble behind the scenes. Especially the other commerce chambers in the Qingyun region. Not to mention, led by Jinlong Ridge Jin family, the Dragon Light Commerce Chamber would definitely not want to see a commerce chamber established on their own. Once the family's trading caravan starts operating, they will continuously target and even disguise as robber cultivators to harass. So facing this problem, what do you plan to do? Lu Changxing asked with a smile. He was naturally aware of this issue. Initially, he did not allow the family to expand the business, considering this very reason, thinking that earning this piece of money was too dangerous. But times change. Now his children have grown up and are capable of standing on their own. Establishing a commerce chamber can provide more opportunities for the children to gain experience. And from chi refinement to foundation establishment, he as a father could still arrange things properly. After foundation establishment, it would be up to the children to strive hard. Of course, another reason is that as the children's cultivation levels enhance and the population increases, family expenses also become somewhat unsustainable, necessitating an increase in income. Of course we fight. This is an issue every caravan will encounter. We can only rely on actual strength to forge a path and establish a renowned name for our family's commerce chamber. Sar the Oval Fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Rui's eyes gleamed with a heroic spirit as she spoke coldly. Although at the foundation establishment stage, most family forces are concerned about face and won't act too egregiously. But when it comes to interests, face counts for nothing. Strength is what talks. As long as we make it through the first trading journey with solid strength, these forces will gradually recognize us. The main dangers afterwards are demon beasts, robber cultivators, and other unexpected situations. Such conflicts are inevitable, but along the way, we can also gradually build good relations with other family forces for mutual benefits. Lu Qingsong said. Haha. Lu Changxing, observing his daughter brimming with fighter spirit, felt somewhat amused. Among the children in the home, this daughter has the weakest combat prowess. Certainly, relying on Lu Rui to lead the team would not work. However, he was very satisfied with his daughter's spirit and courage. Okay, since it's inevitable, let's proceed this way. Our family will not initiate troubles, but we are not afraid of trouble either. But for the first trading journey after the formation of the caravan, let your eldest brother and Jiuyo lead the team. Lu Changxing said aloud. In terms of the commerce chamber, as the family patriarch, he definitely could not intervene personally. If he came forward, it would probably provoke more targeting by other forces. Moreover, he established the commerce chamber to give the children experience. If he handled everything personally, the commerce chamber would have no meaning. But having his daughter Lu Rui lead, he definitely was not at ease. After deliberation, only his son Lu Pingan could lead and maintain control. Lu Pingan is kind-hearted and stable, capable of using reason to prevail over others on this journey. Additionally, using this opportunity, his son Lu Pingan can gradually enter the public eye, becoming a new pillar for Bai Lake Mountain. After all, Bai Lake Mountain cannot be supported by him alone forever. Now that the children have grown up, he and Lu Miaoga can also gradually fade from the public eye. Elder brother. When Lu Rui heard this, she pursed her lips, initially thinking her father would assign this task to her. But she also understood that her current combat prowess was somewhat lacking. Her elder brother, Lu Pingan, had been able to defeat a middle-stage Foundation establishment patriarch from the Tao family in his early years, far beyond herself. If elder brother leads the charge, this trading journey is almost certain to be very stable. Lu Qingsong immediately said. He was aware of his elder brother Lu Pingan's combat prowess. Previously, he thought about asking his brother to lead the first trading journey, to establish a path and create a formidable reputation for the Bai Lake Mountain family commerce chamber. After all, Bai Lake Mountain's current reputation was entirely fought for by his father and aunt. Under such circumstances, other family forces would not cause trouble to Bai Lake Mountain. But to establish a commerce chamber and step beyond Bai Lake Mountain, to let other forces esteem them, sufficient strength was required. And in his view, his elder brother Lu Pingan was the perfect candidate. However, he also regretted that his brother Lu Qingshan was not at home. Though he had always found his elder brother's arrogant demeanor annoying in his youth. But he had to admit, his brother truly was a prodigious talent. If he was present, the family would have another top-tier combatant. Alright, since this is the plan, let's handle the commerce chamber this way. The specific details will be handled by you two in cooperation with Xingyang, then see who in the family wants to join the commerce chamber, the caravan, and draft a charter, regulations. Lu Changxing slightly straightened his posture and said aloud. Yes, father. Both responded with a bow. Qingsong, you can also let go of the White Tiger Mountain family affairs appropriately, focus mainly on Foundation establishment, and strive to break through sooner, so your mother and I don't need to worry. Lu Changxing glanced at his son's cultivation status and said. Thank you for your concern, father. I will certainly strive to advance to Foundation establishment as soon as possible. Lu Qingsong responded with a fist salute. Father, what will our family commerce chamber be called? At this moment, Lu Rui asked Lu Changxing. Let's call it, the Pingan Commerce Chamber. Lu Changxing answered, stroking his chin. In his view, the meaning of Pingan, peace, is good, echoing the name of his eldest son Pingan. His first spiritual talisman shop was called Peace Talisman Hall, and now the Commerce Chamber would also be called the Pingan Commerce Chamber. Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong twitched their lips upon hearing the name. They felt that their father really favored this name. Their elder brother's name was Lu Pingan, and now the Commerce Chamber would also be named after this concept. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1143, Dad, this name for the Commerce Association has been used by too many people. Lu Qingsong spoke in a low voice. The cultivation world is so vast, and names like Pingan are very common. Especially some smaller commerce associations, they like to use such names, one for good implications, and also because it's low-key. After all, a name that's too high-profile can lead to dissatisfaction from others if one's virtue does not match one's station. In that case, let's call it Rui Commerce Association, Wheel Commerce Association, Great Love Commerce Association, Much Fortune Commerce Association, never mind, let's call it Evergreen Commerce Association. After thinking of several names, Lu Changxing finally confirmed the name of the Commerce Association. After Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong retired, Lu Miaoyun softly inquired, Husband, isn't this trade mission too dangerous for Pingan? She knew that Lu Pingan was not bad in combat, but she was not very clear about the specifics. Don't worry, with Pingan and the 9 Netherhound, it's enough. Lu Changxing said with a light chuckle. Their son Lu Pingan had cultivated the 100 Refinements treasure body art to the peak of the 7th layer. He was just one step away from breaking through to the 8th layer. And the 9 Netherhound, after being fed a bottle of Beast Origin elixir, had grown to the late stage of the 2nd rank. Under such circumstances, unless a false core immortal personally made a move, they definitely could not match Lu Pingan and the 9 Netherhound. If any false core immortal dared to be so shameless, then he himself would certainly pay them a visit. Lu Miaoyun, hearing her husband say this, also felt reassured and stopped worrying. Subsequently, Lu Changxing went out of the main hall to find his son Lu Qinsha. This son was 26 years old, and due to investing a lot of time and energy in insect control, his cultivation was still at the 6th level of energy refinement. Father. Lu Qinsha, inheriting the appearance and looks from Lu Changxing and Su Ruyan, had a handsome face with more defined, rugged features. However, due to his contracted spiritual beast being the 1,000-legged centipede, his skin was very white, giving off a somewhat pale and sickly aura. Qinsha, try to activate this ancient charm with your spiritual power. Lu Changxing handed over the ancient beast taming charm to Lu Qinsha. Yes, father. Lu Qinsha, not knowing his father's intentions, received the ancient beast taming charm with both hands. He didn't understand why, but as he looked at the charm in his hand, which appeared both like jade and not jade, like stone and not stone, carved with the patterns of magical beasts, he inexplicably felt a connection, and even his cultivation technique, beast technique, seemed to become more active. Without overthinking it, he initiated the beast technique, channeling spiritual power into the ancient beast taming charm. The ancient beast taming charm radiated a brilliance, and Lu Qinsha saw a world with mountains, plants, rivers. Within the river swam several utterly dark flood dragons and dragon fish. Perched on a large tree was a stunningly beautiful green jade luan bird. Nearby lay a cold blue mysterious turtle radiating a chilling aura, and a black and white bear-like creature that looked quite endearing. Isn't that Sister Wangsha's little ice, roll, and the green jade luan bird? Lu Qinsha immediately recognized the cold blue mysterious turtle, the iron-eating beast, and the green jade luan bird. Although the green jade luan bird was a gift from Lu Changxing to Lu Miaoyan, since Lu Miaoyan was practicing the heavenly longevity technique and could not travel, the luan bird was always used as a mount by Lu Wangshu. And the iron-eating beast, originally a pet of Lu Lingyi, was also often played with by Lu Wangshu. It really works. Lu Changxing, seeing the ancient charm emanating colored brilliance in his son's hand, slightly nodded. He asked aloud, "Did you see anything from it?" Replying to father, son saw many similar-shaped dragon fish and flood dragons, and also Sister Wangsha's green jade luan bird, little ice, and roll. Lu Qinsha still did not understand what his father wanted him to do. Try to release one of the flood dragons for me to see. Lu Changxing said. Whoosh! Instantly, a black-colored large water serpent appeared, about 10 feet long with black scales covering its body, sporting 2 mustaches. It was a blackwater dragon Dao troop cultivated by Lu Changxing. However, these Dao troops were currently at the highest level of the 1st grade top tier, none had yet advanced to the 2nd grade. Take it back in. Lu Changxing continued. Hearing this, Lu Qinsha faithfully operated the ancient charm and retracted the blackwater dragon fish back into the charm. Try putting these spirit stones into the charm to convert them into energy. Lu Changxing let his son try out various capabilities of the charm. After confirming that all these functionalities were working properly, he nodded and said, "Keep this ancient charm with you for now." Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If your sister Wangshu asks you for a spiritual beast, you give it to her. Then, every half-month, your auntie Bai Ling needs your help to release these dragon snakes and dragon fish for a while. Lu Changxing instructed. Yes. Lu Qinsha, though still confused, nodded obediently. Moreover, he could feel that having this ancient charm with him could somewhat increase the speed of his cultivation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1144, Insect Control is, after all, a minor path. It can only serve as a means. If you become too engrossed and it delays your cultivation, then you have put the cart before the horse, and the loss outweighs the gain. Remember, cultivation level and spiritual practice are the foundation. Lu Changxing continued to speak to his son Lu Qinsha. The other possessed a 5th grade spiritual root, and his talent was considered quite good. Although he encountered some setbacks at the early stages of cultivating the beast technique, and wasted some time, with the current benefits provided by the Lu family, plus the cultivation resources given privately by his mother, He should have earnestly cultivated and already achieved a breakthrough to the 7th level energy refinement by now. Thank you for your concern, father. Your son understands. Lu Qinsha felt a pang in his heart, aware that he was indeed lagging behind in terms of the progress of his cultivation level. As long as you're aware of it yourself, that's enough. Lu Changxing patted his son on the shoulder and said no more. His hints were not just because of the delay in cultivation, but also because the current value of his son's spiritual insect rearing was mediocre, with limited returns in the later stages. If Lu Qinsha were a loose cultivator, it would naturally be okay to devote more time and energy to this aspect. But as a disciple of the Lu family, there is no need to engage in too much strife during the qi refinement realm, and spending too much time and energy on this would indeed be somewhat wasteful. Moreover, the Purple Shadow secret realm will open in just over 6 years, and given Qinsha's situation, you should consider exploring it then. At this moment, Lu Changxing thought of the Purple Shadow secret realm that opened every 30 years. He felt that it would be a good opportunity for his son to enter and temper himself. After handing the ancient beast taming charm to Lu Qinsha, Lu Changxing couldn't help thinking of its former owner, his son's mother, Su Ruyan. Although this woman had obtained the heavenly demon phoenix from him and condensed the heavenly beast Dao foundation, without the guidance and help of a personal mentor, her growth in recent years had been steady but ordinary. Her growth rate was extraordinary, but not astonishing. If I hadn't taken the ancient beast taming charm from her, perhaps her development now would be even better? Lu Changxing stroked his chin, mulling it over. There has always been talk of fate and fortune in the cultivation world. Among those theories is the idea that if someone destined for great fortune experiences too many setbacks and defeats, it may lead to the loss of their destined fortune from the universe. Su Ruyan, in Lu Changxing's view, was definitively one with great fortune and should have progressed boldly and rapidly. But in recent years, her development has been relatively ordinary. Fate and fortune, Lu Changxing chuckled lightly, not paying it much mind. He returned to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, began to stabilize his condition, and prepared to address Ling Zixio's dragon roar physique problem. At Baiyun Peak, in Mingyue residence. This profound origin bead has actually improved so much. In the cultivation chamber, Lu Wangshu, after successfully refining the profound origin bead, revealed a face of delight and surprise, bright and flawless. She knew the profound origin bead her father gave her was no trivial item. But she had never imagined it would be so amazingly effective. Not only was her mana spiritual pressure significantly increased, but this profound origin bead also acted like a second dantian, storing nearly 10 times her mana. With this, it's as if I have endless mana, and I can freely perform the drawing talisman in the void technique. Lu Wangshu was thrilled. Her clear and bright eyes revealed a sly glint. Shortly after, she sought out her brother, Lu Lingxiao. Lu Wangshu, what are you here for? Lu Lingxiao's features were not as elegantly handsome as Lu Changxing's. His face was rugged with well-defined angles and dignified. His unusual golden eyes, concealed by a magic artifact from Lu Changxing, were still exceptionally bright, eye-catching like a torch. He did not show much pleasure at the sight of his sister. Lu Lingxiao, are you itching for a fight again? Lu Wangshu gave her brother a sidelong glance and spoke. Sir, the Novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. You've always wanted to challenge me. Now that your sister has condensed a Supreme Dao Foundation, they'll let you witness it. So that you don't neglect your cultivation in your rush to achieve foundation establishment. Dressed in a pale pink and white gown, Lu Wangshu stood with her hands behind her back, speaking to her brother. Supreme Dao Foundation? Lu Lingxiao's eyes narrowed slightly. He might not like this sister, but there was no question about her talent and comprehension. She was not only proficient in the talisman path but also knowledgeable in alchemy, puppets, and music mastery. Although her cultivation level was slow, he knew it was because their father wanted her to lay a solid foundation. Do you want to see for yourself? Lu Wangshu asked with a slight tilt of her exquisitely shaped chin. Yes. Lu Lingxiao nodded. Although he understood through his mentor's explanations that there were bedrock shatter, with flaw, without flaw, and perfect foundation bases, Hearing that his sister had condensed a supreme Dao foundation made him want to witness it for himself. Lu Lingxiao never considered himself inferior to anyone, especially not the sister in front of him. Lu Wangshu crossed her arms, glanced sideways, and said, "Is that your attitude?" Lu Lingxiao's mouth twitched, and he bowed politely. "Please enlighten me, sister. Your tone and attitude are not right, try again." Lu Wangshu demanded. "Lu Wangshu, don't take a mile when given an inch. The Dao Foundation consists of 4 levels: bedrock shatter, with flaw, without flaw, and perfect. At most, you've only condensed a perfect foundation base. When it's time for me to assault foundation establishment, it will surely be a perfect foundation base as well, and it's not yet determined who will win or lose." Lu Lingxiao stood tall, with an impressive aura, speaking proudly. He was already at the 9th level of energy refinement, his progress step by step, just to condense a perfect foundation base. Moreover, due to his physique, his mana foundation and techniques were far superior to ordinary people, so he was confident that after establishing his foundation, he would not be weaker than his sister. Of course, if she cheated by relying on talismans, that didn't count. Since you are aware of the different levels of the Dao Foundation, you must know what to expect from a perfect foundation base, right? Lu Wangshu did not mind her brother's attitude and spoke with a smile. "Of course I know." Lu Lingxiao nodded. "Since that's the case, your sister will let you truly witness it today," Lu Wangshu said with a smile. When the corners of her mouth lifted slightly, revealing pearly white teeth, it made her delicate face playful and lovely. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1145. Immediately, the two of them arrived at the back mountain of Baiyun Peak. This place has a black-brown stone slab training ground for Lu family disciples in the energy refinement late stage to cultivate techniques, or for sparring. "Sister Wangshu, Lingxiao." Several Lu family disciples spotted them on the back mountain and shouted out. CTH Nell Fire. And a website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Currently, many Lu family disciples are on outside expeditions or handling family affairs. Among those still training at home, Lu Wangshu is considered older. Furthermore, given Lu Wangshu's exceptional talent and the affection showered upon her by Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, and Chu Zhenjin at Bai Lake Mountain, most Lu family disciples still hold quite some respect for this older sister. Qing Yan, Xingqian. Lu Wangshu greeted them with a smile, her expression bright and generous, like a spring breeze. Lu Lingxiao merely nodded slightly. The two approached a stone wall, where Lu Wangshu's beautiful eyes looked clear and deep. She said smilingly, "Lingxiao, watch closely." After speaking, she lightly lifted her jade hand, and magic flowed through her pale, slender fingers, gleaming with a lustrous glow. Then, like a dragon and phoenix in awe, her movement fluttered through the void, and soon, a talisman shimmering with golden light took shape. Buzz! Just as the talisman formed, it exuded an incredible and overwhelming magic aura. Drawing talisman in the void. Seeing this technique, Lu Lingxiao's eyes slightly narrowed. However, he knew that his sister cultivated the talisman path, a very rare talisman cultivator, and was not shocked by such a technique, simply continuing to watch Lu Wangshu. Buzz, 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 magic power surged around Lu Wangshu, causing her pink-white dress to flutter and dance without wind. The finished talisman instantly split into 3, 3 into 9, 9 into 36. All these talismans emanated an extraordinary magic aura, circulating around Lu Wangshu, making her appear pure and holy, full of grace. This. Lu Lingxiao was instantly startled. His vivid eyes gleamed with a golden luster, staring at the talisman before him. He had cultivated the pupil skill, and could tell that his sister was not using an illusion technique to deceive him. She had truly conjured 36 second-rank talismans in a breath. Even with a perfect foundation base, with mana more robust than ordinary people, how could she deploy so many talismans in just a moment? That's the equivalent of a common foundation establishment cultivator casting 36 techniques continuously. Not to mention whether the meridians and dantian could withstand it. Mustn't her mana be nearly depleted? But his sister seemed as if nothing had happened. Seeing her brother stunned, Lu Wangshu's mouth curled slightly upward as she continued to gesture incantation. Swoosh, 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 boom, boom, boom. The golden talismans struck towards the stone wall ahead, each one causing an incredibly terrifying force. If it weren't for the wall being constructed from special materials and engraved with array patterns, it might have collapsed directly. Yet under such an offensive, the back mountains still shook. However, it hadn't ended yet. Lu Wangshu continued to gesture incantations with both hands, the void buzzing and trembling, generating more talismans, and soon there were over 100. Ling Xiao, look closely, this is the power of the Supreme Tao Foundation. Lu Wangshu's robes fluttered, her hair flying, surrounded by intricate talismans, her figure shimmering, hazy, like a beautiful warrior goddess. Phoenix Fire Scourge. She gestured with both hands, aligning these talismans neatly before merging them into one, forming a slender and elegant phoenix bird, with noble and gorgeous rosy clouds. The phoenix bird crouched behind Lu Wangshu, engulfed in blazing flames, endowing her with an indescribable sense of divine nobility, beyond earthly beauty. Ling Xiao, what do you think? Lu Wangshu looked at her younger brother, her voice crisp and pleasant. She sighed inwardly in disappointment that she hadn't yet manufactured talisman soldiers. Otherwise, if she deployed a few talisman soldiers at this time, the power and effect could rise to another level. Supreme Tao Foundation, so this is the Supreme Tao Foundation. Lu Lingxiao was astounded upon seeing this scene. Even though he was very confident, believing that after his foundation establishment, he would surely surpass Lu Wangshu. But seeing Lu Wangshu's astonishing techniques, he felt somewhat powerless. So astonishing. Just moments and hundreds of talismans, is that what it seems like for a cultivator who just broke through to the foundation establishment stage? Even in the foundation establishment mid-stage, or the late stage, isn't it just this? Not just him, the recent commotion pulled to the back mountain fellow cultivators Lu Qinyan, Lu Xingchen, and Lu Yunfei. Everyone stared at the current Lu Wangshu, dumbfounded, startled, and bewildered. Isn't this elder sister at the Qi refinement realm? When did she break through to foundation establishment? And to be so formidable just after breaking through? Everyone was quite bewildered. Sister Wangshu, did you break through to foundation establishment? So impressive. Lu Qinyan exclaimed in amazement towards Lu Wangshu in front of her. Cultivate well, and you all can also reach foundation establishment soon. Lu Wangshu slightly lifted her palm, the crouched phoenix bird behind her dissipated, and she said with a bright smile. Such maneuvers consumed a lot of her mana. If not for the profound origin bead, she couldn't have performed it. However, seeing Lu Lingxiao's reaction, she didn't continue pretending. Otherwise, it would really be too demoralizing for this younger brother. Although there was a bit of showing off and playing around in her mind, she was also using this way to motivate him. This younger brother had exceptional talent and a strong character, always thinking about challenging his elder sister. If that's the case, she would present him with a challenge. Indeed, Sister Wangshu, the trio was indeed shocked by Lu Wangshu's recent maneuvers. Lu Lingxiao, you weren't too disheartened, were you? At this moment, Lu Wangshu came up to Lu Lingxiao and patted his shoulder, speaking out. Humph, Lu Wangshu, don't think I don't know, you must have relied on some external item to achieve this. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1146, Lu Lingxiao snorted coldly. Although he was young, he was not foolish. He naturally guessed that the methods his sister had just used were problematic, certainly not relying on any Supreme Tao Foundation. Moreover, this sister's character, suddenly seeking him out and showboating like this, was certainly questionable. Still, despite saying such, a sensation of pressing pressure surged in his heart. He knew that even if he condensed a perfect foundation base, it would be difficult to surpass her. Sigh, is it really that hard to admit that sister is stronger? Just behave a little better and sister might give you some tips. Sar the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Wangshu did not care about Lu Lingxiu's attitude. If he easily submitted, she would find it uninteresting. Humph, at the same realm, I will definitely not be weaker than you. Lu Lingxiao declared, preparing to seek his master's advice. Goose goose goose, seeing him like this, Lu Wangshu burst into unreserved laughter. Then she said to the other younger siblings, Yan Yan, Xingchen, Yunfei, don't spread the word about what just happened. If their father found out she came to bully Lu Lingxiao again, he would surely scold her. Sister Wangshu, rest assured. The three nodded in response. White Tiger Mountain. In a valley. Boom boom boom. A tall, sturdy young man, his body gleaming with a precious light, was barehandedly fighting a fierce beast that was gigantic, with a wolf-like head and a scarlet vertical scar on its brow. The strikes from both the man and the beast were extremely fierce, clashing continuously with a clanging resonance, stirring up wind and thunder, echoing throughout the valley. If anyone witnessed this scene, they would be incredibly astonished. After all, demon beasts naturally possessed powerful physical bodies. Ordinary cultivators would never engage them in close combat, let alone barehanded. Especially as the young man fought the demon beast, stirring up dust and wind thunder, not falling short, exchanging blows that shattered numerous giant stones in the valley. Big Pot, Qing Song has something for you. At that moment, a 16 or 17-year-old girl, cute-looking with buns in her hair and riding wind-fire wheels appeared. She cupped her hands to her mouth, shouting to the young man who was fighting the fierce beast. Hearing this noise, Lu Pingan and the 9 Netherhounds stopped and responded to his sister, Lu Lingyi, okay, coming. Moments later, after changing into a black robe, Lu Pingan joined his not-yet shoulder-high sister and asked, Xiaohe, what does Qing Song need? I have no clue. Lu Lingyi shook her little head, then said to Lu Pingan, you'll know once you go, Big Pot. I'm going to find Xiaohe to play. Saying that, she rode the windfire wheels to the massive 9 Netherhound, clenched her fists, and crisply shouted, come on, Xiaohe. The 9 Netherhound, looking at the girl before him with pupils glowing dark red, revealed a hint of helplessness. It thought that having reached this stage, it would no longer need to babysit. But then Lu Lingyi came to White Tiger Mountain, often saw it practicing with Lu Pingan, and wanted to emulate them by sparring with it. Facing Lu Pingan, it could strike at will. And the two had been training together since childhood, forming a great understanding. But facing Lu Lingyi, if it applied a bit too much force with its claws, it would turn the girl into a mush. This process was infinitely more difficult than sparring with Lu Pingan. Mountain's shaking fist. The girl shouted excitedly, throwing a punch at the 9 Netherhound. Although she knew only one punch, that punch was already full of momentum. As her fist shot forth, massive energy surged, carrying an unstoppable, indestructible force. Thud. The 9 Netherhound raised its paw, very reluctantly, but put on a fierce appearance to accompany Lu Lingyi in her practice. Company, caravan. In the hall, Lu Pingan listened to his younger siblings discuss the caravan matter, nodding in response, okay, arrange these matters properly, set a time, and inform me. He had no particular thoughts or opinions about the caravan matter. This business trip might require several years. He needed to return home in advance to visit his mother and talk to Su Jiuer. We just wanted to inform you in advance, brother. It will take some time to organize and form the company. If you have any opinions or needs, brother, we can arrange and prepare conveniently. Lu Qingsong spoke up. Organizing the caravan not only required planning the trade route and preparing manpower but also advanced preparation of goods, purchasing beasts of burden, and storage boxes. The space in a normal storage bag was limited, and due to volume and weight constraints, using it for trading was very troublesome. The storage box, compared to the storage bag, not only had a capacity dozens of times larger but could also be outfitted with numerous prohibitions. Even if the storage box was robbed, breaking the prohibitions on it to steal the goods would be difficult, and their family could use the box's identifying mark to retrieve the merchandise. I have no particular opinions or needs, just arrange as you see fit. Lu Pingan said with a smile. Although he oversaw White Tiger Mountain, he had never interfered with family affairs for many years and had no interest in them. Okay. Lu Qingsong nodded, understanding his elder brother's temperament. Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Changxing Hall. Who? Lu Changxing opened his eyes and breathed out a long breath of turbid energy, finally recovering from the loss incurred by condensing the Tai Dao seed. However, seeing his dwindling supply of high-quality spirit stones, he sighed lightly. Continuing to cultivate like this, he would deplete all the high-quality spirit stones he had accumulated over the years. He rose and walked out of his cave mansion, glanced at Ling Zixio's cave mansion, and since she was not in Changxing Hall, he headed to the Lu family mansion. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1147, Husband. Master. Father, Daddy. When Lu Changxing had just arrived at the Lu family mansion, he was greeted by these affectionate calls. It must be said, the feeling was very pleasant. Each time he returned home, tired from cultivation, it was a moment of relaxation and comfort. Daddy, Daddy, I've reached the 3rd level of Qi refinement. At this moment, a cute little girl with an exquisite appearance, akin to a porcelain doll, saw Lu Changxing and affectionately called out. So fast, little Qier, you're truly marvelous. Lu Changxing looked at his daughter with a face full of praise and said with a smile. Although this daughter had a 4th-grade spiritual root, due to her mother, Lu Miaohuan's reason, not only was her body strong, but her meridians and dantian were also extraordinary. Thus, during the medicinal baths, the effects were excellent, and now at the age of 11, she had already reached the 3rd level of Qi refinement. This made Lu Changxing feel emotional. In his own days, he didn't have such conditions. Thinking back on his own past, when there was no path for cultivation, he could only marry into the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain, and it had taken almost a year just to channel Qi into his body. His hardships and pains could truly make the listeners sad and the hearers cry. Hee, my younger brother has also reached the 3rd level of Qi refinement, Lu Qingxi said giggling, chattering non-stop as she shared amusing stories with Lu Changxing. Her son, Lu Qingxian, also came forward to greet Lu Changxing. Dressed in brocade robes and jade boots, his slightly naive face perfectly inherited the features from Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoge, handsome and tender, showing the hints of his illustrious future. Unlike his lively and boisterous sister, his personality was quiet and gentle. His bright eyes looked at his father and sister in front of him, and he would only speak up when Lu Changxing asked him something or when he was interested in something. Dad, I heard Brother Xingyang say that our family is setting up a trade association. At this moment, Lu Qingxian voiced his inquiry. Correct, what's the matter? Sar the Novel Fire. And a website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing did not expect his son to be concerned about this, he said with a smile. I heard from Grandpa before, our family has always been feared by many other family forces. Once our family business expands beyond by Lake Mountain, it's easy to be targeted. Now that we are establishing a trade association, if Mom and Dad have to stay at home, only Brother Pingan and Brother Qing Xian will manage it. But I heard from outsiders that our family is now considered a false core family, and when the time comes, other false core families might act against our trade association. Can just Brother Pingan and Brother Qing Xian be enough to handle it? Lu Qingxian, with his clear eyebrows and high nose, red lips, and white teeth, asked. Hearing his son's words, Lu Changxing raised his eyebrows slightly, his tone gentle. In disputes between forces, negotiation is the main approach when it escalates. They won't make things utterly hostile. These family forces will at most probe and suppress us, making our business unsustainable and forcing us to retreat. However, these families would only deploy cultivators up to the late stage of foundation establishment. Currently, your eldest brother's strength is fully capable of handling and resolving these issues. Lu Changxing explained to his son. Regarding the true foundation of the family, only people like Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, and Lu Miaoyun were aware. Thus, Lu Qingxian was not fully informed of the true strength of the family and Lu Pingan's real combat power. Wow, big brother is that powerful? Lu Qingqi, with her tiny face filled with surprise and mouth slightly agape, heard this. Although they were young, they had been taught the basics of cultivation since their enlightenment at 6 in the Lu Family Academy. They understood what the concept of a foundation establishment late stage meant. Yes, your big brother has an exceptional talent in body refinement and is also very diligent in his daily cultivation. Lu Changxing gently rubbed his daughter's elegantly styled little head, laughing as he spoke. If big brother goes to sit in the trade association, what about White Tiger Mountain? Lu Qingxian asked curiously. In his understanding, a foundation establishment cultivator must sit in the family spirit land to handle unexpected situations. Your sister Rui recently broke through to foundation establishment and can sit in White Tiger Mountain. However, your brother Yun and brother Xingqian are also preparing for foundation establishment. If they break through, they could also go to White Tiger Mountain. Lu Changxing faces his son's confusion and speaks directly. That makes sense. Lu Qingxian nodded thoughtfully. He thought to himself that it was indeed as he suspected. There might be other foundation establishment cultivators at home. If you're interested in this area, you can ask your brother Yun and brother Xingyang more often. Lu Changxing said with a smile. Although children with good talents generally don't take the position of family head, if his son has an interest, he would be happy. And this son indeed had some talent and aptitude in management. Okay. Lu Qingxian nodded in response. Dad, Grandpa's health is getting worse. I plan to go stay in Jianghu Mountain for a while to accompany Grandpa more. My brother and sister have also told us to visit Grandpa more often. Lu Qingxian continued lightly, with his lips slightly pursed. These years, Lu Miaoga often brought him to Jianghu Mountain to visit Grandpa Lu Yuanding. And Lu Yuanding also loved him very much as a grandson, and they were very close. Many issues among family forces had been explained to him by Grandpa Lu Yuanding. Okay, when the time comes, Dad will take you there. Lu Changxing sighed internally, knowing that his father-in-law was likely to pass away in the next few years. Daddy, I will also go to visit Grandpa then. Lu Qingqi, hearing this, also seemed a bit downcast. They all knew that people die, and their grandfather didn't have much time left. After chatting with his wives and children for a moment, Lu Changxing visited his son Lu Lingxiao's residence. Seeing his son talking with his wife Ling Zixiao. Zixiao, shower, what are you talking about? Lu Changxing approached with a cheerful smile. Xiao was asking me about how to cast hundreds of second-rank talismans after just breaking through foundation establishment. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1148, Ling Zixiao, dignified and elegant, looked at Lu Changxing and spoke irritably. Although her son didn't specifically name Lu Wangshu, she didn't need to think twice to realize what was going on. After all, she was well aware of the constant squabbles between her children and Lu Wangshu. She didn't necessarily see sibling fights as an issue. But just watching her son constantly bullied by Lu Wangshu, stubbornly gritting his teeth without ever seeking help from his father Lu Changxing, seeking some treasures, stubbornly wanting to compete with Lu Wangshu, made her feel frustrated. That girl is clever and strange, daily earning Lu Changxing's affection, with unknown numbers of treasures in her hand. Her own son is no match. Also looking at her son's stubbornness, she thought of her daughter, Lu Lingyi. Compared to her son's resoluteness, her daughter Lu Lingyi was completely naive, deceived by Lu Wangshu and even helping count the money. Furthermore, her daughter was tricked repeatedly without learning her lesson, still affectionately addressing Lu Wangshu as elder sister, following her around like a shadow, which infuriates her for not being able to meet her expectations. Inexplicably, she, wise all her life, couldn't understand how she ended up having such a pair of children, inheriting none of the cleverness. Cough cough. Lu Changxing, hearing what Ling Zixiao said, immediately understood the situation. He gently coughed and said, Wangshu, that girl is too unreasonable, I'll discipline her later. Humph. Ling Zixiao, hearing this, rolled her eyes, not believing that her husband would truly be willing to discipline their cherished daughter. My husband, Shao, has some cultivation issues he wants to consult Senior Red Lotus about, but Miaoyan mentioned that the ancient talisman is in Qinsha's hands, yet it seems Senior Red Lotus isn't within the talisman. Ling Zixiao did not dwell on the matter of their children, instead she voiced out her query. Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. After hearing this, Lu Changxing slapped his forehead and said. He explained that Red Lotus was inside a dead tree stump in the Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven Medicine Garden. Sun's cultivation doubts can be addressed by heading to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, calling out to Red Lotus by the Peachwood Spirit Womb. Ah, why is Senior Red Lotus in that dead tree stump? Ling Zixiao voiced in surprise. She had noticed an additional tree stump in the medicine garden before, but had not paid it much mind. This dead tree stump is named Peachwood Spirit Womb. It is a spiritual embryo of heaven and earth, and Red Lotus plans to use this spiritual embryo as a body. Lu Changxing didn't conceal this from his wife and spoke directly. Spiritual embryo of heaven and earth. Ling Zixiao suddenly revealed a surprised expression. Lu Lingxiao was somewhat puzzled, not knowing what a spiritual embryo of heaven and earth was. But from the conversation, he roughly understood that his master is in the process of restructuring a body. Well, probably in a few years, Red Lotus will be able to reconstruct the physical body. Lu Changxing said gently. Red Lotus' identity, he kept hidden from other wives and children. But there was nothing to hide from Ling Zixiao and their son Lu Lingxiao. This really is a congratulations to Senior Red Lotus. S.E.A. The Oval Fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Ling Zixiao, dignified and elegant, smiled gracefully. Once this Senior Red Lotus reconstitutes a body, his cultivation might not return to its peak, but it certainly won't be weak. Having such a master for her son is also tantamount to having an additional support. However, once Senior Red Lotus reconstitutes his physical body, it seems inevitable he won't escape from her husband's control. In this way, the master-disciple relationship between her son and this Senior Red Lotus doesn't seem to hold much advantage. Shower, have you encountered any issues in your cultivation? Lu Changxing looked at his son Lu Lingxiao, asking aloud. As a nascent soul immortal, with so many cultivation techniques inherited in his mind, he is capable of guiding his son in cultivation. No, just wanted to consult my master about the Dao Foundation. Lu Lingxiao gently shook his head. Listening to his son's words, Lu Changxing immediately understood that this was caused by Lu Wangshu's behavior making him somewhat question life. He promptly said, "Don't listen to Wangshu's nonsense about the Supreme Dao Foundation, there is no such thing. A perfect foundation base is already flawless, only a great opportunity can cause the foundation to transform." The reason she could achieve this was entirely relying on a treasure, with mana comparable to a foundation establishment mid-stage. Lu Changxing spoke out, very experienced in these matters. But his son's character was indeed straightforward. In his youth, when Lu Wangshu mentioned that one must stay awake during a medicinal bath for the best effects, he stubbornly stayed awake throughout the bath without sleeping. Did Sister Wangshu's foundation undergo any transformation above the perfect foundation base? Upon hearing this, Lu Lingxiao immediately asked. Still a bit off. Lu Changxing shook his head and said. Causing the Dao Foundation to transform is extremely difficult. Even in his own youth, it was only due to a coincidental chance with the effects of Great Sun Essence, Taiyin Moonlight, and Spirit Nurturing Energy that such a transformation occurred. Looking at his son's eyes burning with fierce determination, Lu Changxing thoughtfully said, "You don't need to rush the foundation establishment. Solidify your foundation well, and later your father will prepare something for you." Now, among his children at home, when it comes to talent, this son in front of him is the foremost. But besides allowing Red Lotus to carefully instruct him, he hasn't given much assistance to his son. Mainly because there's no suitable treasure for him. He wanted to obtain a heavenly spiritual fire, but has only gathered information about a few second-rank heavenly spiritual fires over the years, none of which suited Lu Lingxiao. Therefore, for this trip to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, Lu Changxing plans to hunt several demon kings. Then, using the demon king's essence blood to concoct a medicinal bath to baptize his son, solidifying his foundation. Thank you, father. Upon hearing this, Lu Lingxiao immediately bowed. Beside him, Ling Zixiao hearing this, her graceful face also revealed a hint of a smile. It is known that even within the immortal sects, a perfect foundation base is considered a true inheritor, equivalent to a nascent soul seed level existence. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1149. Even many true inheritors of immortal sects only possess a flawless Dao foundation. Yet my own son has set the perfect foundation base as his goal. And he has a high probability of condensing a perfect foundation base. Hehe, you should listen to your sister Wang Shu less. After your foundation establishment, Daddy will prepare some treasures for you. They definitely won't be inferior to hers. Lu Changxing patted his son's shoulder, thinking to himself that when the time comes, he should prepare some treasures for his son. Otherwise, his son could be bullied by his daughter, Lu Wangshu, to death. After the conversation with his son, Lu Lingxiao, Lu Changxing told Ling Zixiao that they could now start to deal with the dragon roar physique. My efforts are for you, my lord. Upon hearing this, Ling Zixiao responded with a light smile. The two then proceeded to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Lu Changxing called over Lu Miaoge, who was currently cultivating. It wasn't to have Miaoge contribute to the mood. Rather, in the event of any unforeseen circumstances during the process that might trigger a reaction from the dragon roar physique, Miaoge could help suppress it using the water of virtue technique. Or use the Tai True water to immediately heal and nourish Ling Zixiao's physical body. Changxing Hall. The cave mansion was simple and elegant, filled with a faint and refined fragrance. Zi Xiao, Sister Miaoge. Lu Changxing looked at his wife with a grave expression, signaling he was about to begin. Okay. Lu Miaoge was dressed in a plain white robe, sitting elegantly beside the bed. My lord. Hearing this, Ling Zixiao took the initiative to wrap her arms around Lu Changxing's neck and kissed him. S.E.A. The Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Moments later, the two undressed and began to operate the Sun-Moon Samsara technique. This cultivation technique was very useful. Whether for dual cultivation, breaking through, or entering a state of meditation, it had great effects. Zi Xiao. Lu Changxing looked at Ling Zixiao, whose beauty was radiant and alluring with flushed cheeks and soft, supple skin, and reminded her aloud. This indicated he was operating the yin-yang creation scripture. Within the Qi ocean core, the golden core seemed like a purple sun, bursting forth with golden rays of light. A black and white yin-yang fish swam, roaring ferociously. Under the surging golden core true essence, it transcended and leaped into a dragon. The true dragon plunged into the secluded abyss, seeking its target for this journey. Roar. In the abyss, there was a blazing and domineering dragon ball. Seeing the true dragon approach, it roared fiercely, exuding a terrifying and shocking presence. Roar. However, facing the dragon ball, the true dragon showed no fear and swallowed it directly. Boom! The black and white dragon's body seemed to catch a rolling flame, beginning to burn. Facing this situation, the true dragon coiled, forming a yin-yang Taoist chart, suppressing and refining the dragon ball. Ling Zixiao's full and straight legs tensed up, her toes wrapped in white socks also clenched tightly, rubbing against Lu Changxing's back, her blushing face showing a pained groan. She felt excruciating agony, as the dragon roar origin was one with her, and this reversal of yin and yang was extremely painful for her. Seeing this, Lu Miaoge immediately went forward to alleviate Ling Zixiao's pain, using Tai True water to nourish her body. Lu Changxing continuously operated the yin-yang creation scripture, pouring his own golden core true essence into Ling Zixiao's body ceaselessly, to produce a hint of yin in the dragon roar origin. As long as a hint of yin was born from the yang, there would be a yin-yang balance, no longer affected by the dragon roar physique. However, it has to be mentioned that the dragon roar physique truly lived up to its reputation as a top-tier physique. Even though Ling Zixiao was only at the foundation establishment cultivation, wanting to completely suppress her dragon roar origin and reverse yin and yang was exceedingly difficult for him. If Shiyu were here, it might have helped somewhat. At that moment, Lu Changxing thought of Xiao Xie. Her moonlight physique was a yin spiritual body. If they used Xiao Xie's Taiyin moonlight essence as a guide, maybe the process would be much easier. But now, this is sufficient. Lu Changxing, supporting Ling Zixiao's voluptuous waist, said to Lu Miaoge, Sister Miaoge, stabilize Zi Xiao's condition. After speaking, he turned his golden core origin into the utmost yin and gentle force, surging with all his power. Boom! In an instant, yin-yang source within Ling Zixiao turned into a profound darkness, the circulating yin-yang Taoist chart resembling a deep black hole, constantly revolving, suppressing, and refining the dragon ball inside. Roar, roar, roar. The dragon roar origin roared furiously, as if it wanted to tear through the Taoist chart and break free. But faced with the potent and astonishing yin-yang source, it was powerless. Thus, the two forces of yin and yang began their struggle and opposition. Throughout this merging process, Ling Zixiao raised her exquisite neck, her body trembling, her voice whimpering, tugging at one's heartstrings. Sister Ling, Lu Miaoge continued to nourish Ling Zixiao's body, suppressing the dragon roar of yang energy spreading from her meridians and dantian. This process was extremely dangerous. Had it not been for Lu Miaoge's presence, Lu Changxing would have had to divide his attention to stabilize Ling Zixiao's body using nirvana art and life transference technique. Time passed by little. No one knew how long it had been. Ling Zixiao's face turned pale as she nearly lost consciousness. But eventually, her Bodis dragon roar origin let out a mournful sound, under the profound black Taoist chart, showing a bit of golden luster. Slowly it merged with the dark Taoist chart, forming an intermingled pattern of black and white. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1150. On the bed, Ling Zixiao's eyes fluttered deliriously, her lips bright red and breath heavy, her delicate body limp and covered in glistening sweat beads, lying atop Lu Changxing. Lu Changxing's palm gently caressed the soft, delicate snow-like skin of the beauty. Beside them, Lu Miaoge held Ling Zixiao's pale wrist, nourishing her meridians and dantian silently with the water of virtue technique. Moments later, Lu Changxing softly asked Ling Zixiao, Zixiao, how do you feel now? Ling Zixiao hummed softly, quietly sensing the condition of her body. After a short while, her clear, water-like beautiful eyes revealed a touch of surprise and delight. My lord, I feel that the effects of the dragon roar physique have dissipated, forming a new benign effect. But the specific effects need to be gradually understood through cultivation. Ling Zixiao looked at Lu Changxing, her face filled with excitement and joy. This dragon roar physique had troubled her for too long. Even though Lu Changxing had been suppressing it before, her cultivation was still intermittent, not daring to be too aggressive. Fearing that during cultivation, the dragon roar physique might cause some problems again. At this moment, the dragon roar physique had finally been thoroughly resolved. She felt like she was breaking free from shackles and cages, overwhelmed by indescribable joy and excitement. She was naturally talented, possessing a third-grade spirit root. Lu Changxing resolving her dragon roar physique did not abolish it. SAR the Novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Instead, using the dragon roar physique as a foundation, he reversed yin and yang to form a new spiritual body effect. Although this spiritual body effect was not as astonishing as the original dragon roar physique, it at least had a beneficial effect on her cultivation, no longer a negative one. In such a situation, Ling Zixiao felt confident about her future prospects of reaching core formation. Congratulations, Sister Ling. Lu Miaoge looked at Ling Zixiao's somewhat pale and weak face, sincerely congratulating her. Having been together for so many years, she knew well how severely the other was affected by the dragon roar physique. If not for the dragon roar physique, with her talent, she would have reached the late stage of foundation establishment long ago. Moreover, Ling Zixiao had exceptional talent in the formation path, and if she had wished to join any faction, she was fully capable of reaching core formation solely through her efforts. Zixiao, if you feel any discomfort during cultivation, you must tell me immediately. Lu Changxing spoke gently to Ling Zixiao. Resolving the dragon roar physique this way was just his hypothesis, which he believed feasible. But it could not completely guarantee that there would be no issues. If there were problems, he would use the dragon invocation technique to directly tackle and resolve the dragon roar physique. Ling Zixiao nodded in response. Zixiao, you still seem a bit weak. Let your husband continue to treat you. Sister Miaoga, you've also worked hard. Instantly, the atmosphere within the cave mansion became lively with the essence of spring. 3 days later, Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoga, along with their son, Lu Qingxian, and daughter, Lu Qingqi, came to Jianghu mountain to visit Lu Yuanding. Changxing, Miaoga, you are here. Grandfather, grandmother. Lu Yuanzhong along with the new family head came to greet Lu Changxing and his wife. He had suffered severe injuries in his early years, and now appeared somewhat aged with white hair, like a man in his 50s. Uncle, grandfather. Lu Changxing and others nodded to Lu Yuanzhong. As for the new family head, they didn't pay much attention. Decades had passed, and there were fewer and fewer people familiar to Lu Changxing in Jianghu mountain. The group arrived at a small courtyard in Carefree Valley. Lu Yuanding's face was weathered, his hair white. Seeing Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoga, and their 2 grandchildren coming, his dull eyes immediately brightened up with divine light, rising from the recliner with a somewhat hunched back and exclaimed, Changxing, Miaoga, Xianer, Chier, you're here. Grandfather, grandfather. The 2 young children sensibly rushed forward to support their grandfather. Father-in-law. Lu Changxing called out, vaguely remembering the latter's appearance at the foot of Qingyun Sec's mountain in the past. Unknowingly, the other had gone from a gentle and elegant middle-aged man to such a weathered old man. Father. Lu Miaoga went forward to support her own father, nourishing his body with Tai True water. Lu Yuanding had suffered many injuries in his early years. The fact he could live up to now was entirely due to lifespan extension pills and care by Lu Miaoga. After a while, Lu Yuanding cheerfully talked with his 2 grandchildren. During the conversation, he also showed concern for Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoga, and asked about Lu Miaohuan, as well as Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu, who were far away in Yu country. However, after half an hour, Lu Yuanding became tired and needed to rest. Sigh. After staying a day in Jianghu mountain, Lu Changxing then went to White Tiger mountain, prepared to bring his daughter Lu Lingyi home. Once Ling Zixiao's dragon roar physique was confirmed to be resolved without issues, he would take care of his daughter's dragon roar physique. After all, for a female cultivator, the dragon roar physique was always like a time bomb. Even though Lu Ling's dragon roar physique was a deficient physique, and Lu Changxing could easily suppress it, it was still better to be cautious and resolve it early. For this reason, Lu Changxing had always left his daughter's cultivation largely to its own over the years. However, upon arriving at White Tiger Mountain, he learned that his son Lu Pingan had gone to Rui Prefecture, and his daughter Lu Lingyi had gone with him. Regarding this, he simply asked Lu Qingsong to pass a message to Lu Pingan, telling him to bring Lu Lingyi back to Bai Lake Mountain after returning. Rui County City, Lu family. Although the Lu family was a newly risen clan in Rui Prefecture, thanks to the fame of the family patriarch, Lu Changxing, it had now become the most prominent family power in the entire Rui Prefecture. At this moment, in front of the Lu family mansion, numerous Lu family disciples knelt down, being whipped. Pit-a-pat, 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 the sound of whips swinging rose, accompanied by shrieks. Lu Pingan, tall and majestic, with a face as stern as ice, watched this scene unfold. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1151. On his trip home, he inadvertently heard about instances of bullying and oppression within the family and immediately went to investigate. With the backing of the Rui Marquis mansion, it didn't take long for him to find out what was happening and to become aware of the growing negative influence within the family. This made him extremely angry. The family had only been established for a few decades, but such situations had already arisen. The Lu family allows mediocrity and incompetence, but it absolutely does not allow anyone to rely on the family's power to commit wrongdoing outside. Many families fell into decline precisely because of a lack of discipline, with the descendants becoming arrogant and overbearing. It's true that behind Rui County's Lu family there is the support of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. But if these perverse and evil tendencies aren't curbed in time, the entire family could be affected in the future, potentially even impacting Blue Lake Mountain. Big brother, I dare not do it again, I will never dare again. A young man's robe was torn from the whip's lashes, his back a bloody mess, as he screamed in pain. Not just him, there were others calling out to their uncle or grandfather, even some had fainted from the pain. Yet the whipping continued unabated, with no mercy, causing the air to crackle with the sound, the flesh mangled. After all, the young man who seemed to be the one doing the whipping was not only an immortal, but also the eldest son of the Lu family. On such a large scale and with such severity, who would dare to ask for leniency? Big brother. Lu Wuyu looked at this scene, his gaze shifting shamefully towards Lu Pingan. Although he had relinquished the position of family head, as the first family head he still held considerable power and authority within the family. The current situation was partly his responsibility as well. In the future, the Lu family inspector will report to the Marquis mansion yearly about Lu residence matters. Our father is too busy to manage these, so as the eldest son, it is my responsibility to oversee these affairs. Lu Pingan looked at his gray-haired younger brother and sighed slightly. He understood that his younger brother Lu Wuyu was getting older. The new family head, when dealing with some of the elders, especially those who came from Blue Lake Mountain, might find it challenging to be too strict. And it was precisely due to this that some unfavorable tendencies had begun to appear within the family. Uncle Hong, if Rui Marquis Mansion encounters such incidents again, please send someone to Blue Lake Mountain to notify me. Lu Pingan looked to the side at Hong Yi, who was dressed in fine robes with gray hair. Although he disliked dealing with family affairs, he absolutely didn't want to watch his own family turn into what he loathed most when he was younger. Therefore, in addition to the family's own supervision, he also requested the monitoring by Rui Marquis Mansion. Don't worry, Your Excellency. I will surely have my family pay close attention to this matter. Hong Yi looked at the young man standing tall and firm before him with a restrained and reverent tone. He was well aware that this eldest son of the Lu family was a famed Foundation establishment cultivator who had once repelled a veteran Foundation establishment mid-stage cultivator. But seeing the current form of Lu Pingan, he somewhat remembered how righteous the other party was in his youth. Decades later, there had been no change. Uncle Hong, please feel free to visit Blue Lake Mountain when you're free. Father often mentions you. Lu Pingan said aloud. Certainly. Certainly. Hong Yi nodded in response. Naturally, he did not believe that Lu Changxing talked much about him. But the fact that such a distinguished foundation-building great cultivator showed him such courtesy was still surprising. After everyone had received their lashings, Lu Pingan spoke gravely. After these people wake up, confine them all within the family, grounded for 10 years. If anyone dares to offend again, the consequences will be more than just confinement. In an instant, all the Lu family disciples fell silent, completely respectful in their response. After carrying out the family discipline, Lu Pingan also announced a few measures within the family. In addition to punishments and rewards, he made some adjustments to certain family matters. Although he was not interested in family affairs, it didn't mean he was ignorant. When he was young, his mother Lu Lanshu always intended to train him for the position of Lu residence family head. So by being immersed in it from a young age, he understood many principles. Moreover, he wasn't autocratic, adjusting things based on the situations brought forward by his brother Lu Wuyu, as well as Hong Yi and others from within the family. After handling all matters, he left Rui County City with his sister Lu Lingyi. With such a son overseeing and disciplining the family, the family traditions will be upright. Hong Yi watched Lu Pingan depart, reflecting inwardly. Even though under his stewardship, Rui Marquis Mansion had developed rapidly thanks to the relationships with Blue Lake Mountain and expanded into an energy-refining family. The more it was so, the more worried he was, treading on thin ice. He knew that once he passed away, if his children did not manage well, the family could plummet. Fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. As a foundation establishment cultivator, Lu Pingan, who was now in his 50s or 60s, was in his prime. With him overseeing, at least for the next 100 years, the Lu family would not face such issues. If only Xuanji had a middle-grade spiritual root. At this moment, Hong Yi thought of his son Hong Xuanji, sighing. He had sent his son to Blue Lake Mountain early on, and he had married Lu Changsheng's daughter Lu Caizhen. Now his son held a steward position in the Lu family, responsible for marketplace business, and there was a hope that before the age of 60, he might reach the peak of qi refining and attempt foundation establishment. But his son was only of 7th grade spiritual root. Attempting foundation establishment was utterly impossible. Even if he could ask Lu Changsheng for a meridian-protecting elixir and foundation establishment spiritual objects with decades of savings, his son could still not succeed in foundation establishment. Alas, thinking this, Hong Yi felt a surge of envy towards Lu Changsheng. Not only was he highly reputable, but his wife Lu Miaoge was also renowned, comparable to a false core immortal. Among his children, there were also the 2 great foundation establishment cultivators, Lu Pingan and Lu Qingxian. 60 years ago, who could have imagined that a country boy would come so far? However, with this relationship, at least for 100 years after my death, the Hong family will be without worry. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1152, Hong Yi took a deep breath, convinced that befriending Lu Changsheng was the best decision he had made in his life. With this relationship with Lu Changsheng, at least the Hong family would not encounter any major problems for 100 years after his death. As for what happened after 100 years, that was no longer his concern. Congratulations to the host for the birth of 1,000 progeny, you have earned 1 advanced level lottery opportunity. That day, a system notification rang in the mind of Lu Changsheng. Just 1,000? Lu Changsheng was somewhat surprised and emotional upon seeing that he had over 1,000 grandchildren. Out of these 1,000 grandchildren, apart from a few from earlier years and those with spiritual roots, he had not met 90% of them, which truly embarrassed him. However, thinking that among these 1,000 grandchildren, only a little more than 40 possessed spiritual roots, Lu Changsheng sighed again. It must be known that these 40 or so were due to the children of Bai Lake Mountain gradually starting families and having children, which increased the probability. If it were just the secular offspring, the probability would be simply dismal. Through this, one could well perceive how difficult it is for mortals to give birth to offspring with spiritual roots. Advanced level lottery, Lu Changsheng took a deep breath, silently murmuring in his heart, looking forward to what he might receive in this draw. Ordinary lotteries had little chance of surprising him anymore. But an advanced level lottery, as long as he didn't draw some trash cultivation technique, would be of great help to him. Immediately, the advanced level wheel appeared. Glimmering with golden light, it stopped on the heavenly and earthly treasures reward segment under Lu Changsheng's gaze. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining Xiantian Spiritual Vine. The reward has been issued to the system space. The host can inspect it at any time. Instantly, a verdant and lush vine emerged from the lottery wheel, coupled with a system notification sound. Xiantian Spiritual Vine? A heaven and earth spiritual plant? Lu Changsheng's heart skipped a beat upon seeing the form of the reward, guessing it was a kind of heaven and earth spiritual plant. However, this spiritual plant appeared in the advanced level lottery and had the word Xiantian attached to it, which sounded quite extraordinary. Lu Changsheng's mental spirit stirred, gazing into the system space. Xiantian Spiritual Vine, Grade, 5th Rank, Description. The Xiantian Immortal Vine is a companion spiritual vine that can inconspicuously gather nature's spiritual energy, grow for 10,000 years, and condense into Xiantian spirit fruit. Gathering nature's spiritual energy. Lu Changxing was astonished by the effects of the Xiantian spiritual vine. The notion of spiritual energy was elusive and hard to grasp. This Xiantian spiritual vine could actually inconspicuously gather nature's spiritual energy, which was astounding. But isn't this fruit too difficult to grow? It takes 10,000 years just to bear fruit. Lu Changxing frowned slightly upon seeing it took 10,000 years for it to bear Xiantian spirit fruit. Even with the myriad spirits bottle, it would take him a century or two to make this Xiantian spiritual vine bear fruit. Though 100 or 2 years might be short for a 5th-rank spiritual vine, for Lu Changxing, it sounded like an eternity. Wait, this Xiantian spiritual vine is a 5th-rank spirit plant. Does it mean I have to plant it on a 4th-order spirit vein? If that's the case, wouldn't it be a mere trifle? Lu Changxing murmured to himself, feeling somewhat uncomfortable as he gazed at the Xiantian spiritual vine in front of him. Currently, even a 3rd-order spirit vein was not available at home, let alone thinking about a 4th-order spirit vein. Unless he turned the myriad beasts mountain range upside down, nurturing a 4th-order spirit vein was simply impossible. However, as he was entangled in his thoughts, some information emerged from the Xiantian spiritual vine before his eyes. Search * the novel, F. Iyer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing instantly realized that this Xiantian spiritual vine was different from ordinary spiritual plants. It did not require spiritual energy at all. Once rooted in the earth's veins, it could form a spirit vein. If planted on top of a spirit vein, it could connect with the earth's veins, accelerate the growth of the spirit vein, and inconspicuously gather nature's spiritual energy, shielding the heavenly secrets. SSS, what a treasure indeed. Lu Changxing's eyes lit up with the information, feeling overjoyed. Unexpectedly, this Xiantian spiritual vine not only didn't need a spirit vein but could also accelerate the growth of one. Even without the effect of condensing Xiantian spirit fruit in 10,000 years, in his view, just accelerating the spirit vein's growth and gathering nature's spiritual energy inconspicuously, made this Xiantian spiritual vine a top-tier spiritual object. The advanced level lottery, indeed, never disappoints me. Lu Changxing exclaimed with a pleased face. He promptly extracted the Xiantian spiritual vine from the system space, eager to plant it. In an instant, a vine as green as jade appeared before Lu Changxing. Had it not been for the system's introduction, he would have never guessed the vine before him to be a 5th-rank heaven and earth spiritual plant. It seemed quite simple and unadorned. However, after extracting the Xiantian spiritual vine, Lu Changxing gained a more detailed understanding of it. Once the Xiantian spiritual vine took root, the accumulated nature's spiritual energy did not enhance a single person. Rather, it belonged to the spirit vein land in which it was planted, blessing all the cultivators there, contributing to the collective destiny. Nevertheless, carrying the Xiantian spiritual vine with him also had the effect of obfuscating heavenly secrets and subtly improving destiny. As for the Xiantian spirit fruit, it wasn't just an ordinary fruit but a treasure that would form according to the spirit vein's conditions and the environment in which it grew. Once the fruit solidified, the Xiantian spiritual vine would wither and dissipate. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1153, After the fruit is condensed, will the vine wither and dissipate? Lu Changxing looked at the Xiantian spiritual vine in front of him, a frown forming on his brow. He was just curious about the fruit that the Xiantian spiritual vine had condensed. But upon learning that the spiritual vine would wither away after condensing the spirit fruit, his interest waned considerably. Perhaps the Xiantian spirit fruit was even rarer. But for the time being, in his view, the effects of the Xiantian spiritual vine were more practical. Mount Sumeru. Lu Changxing arrived at the summit of Blue Cloud Peak and asked Mount Sumeru to dig a tunnel at the peak to connect with the spirit vein area. Boom boom boom, a commotion arose on the summit of Blue Cloud Peak. Half a moment later, a tunnel was formed. Lu Changxing passed through the tunnel and arrived at his family's spirit vein area, seeing the spiritual vein origin of Blue Cloud Peak. Go! Lu Changxing placed the jade-like Xiantian spiritual vine atop the spirit vein. The vine glowed green as it spread and grew, rooting itself and climbing over the spirit vein, lush and exuding a pure and rich vitality. Apart from the intense vitality and its rampant growth, there was no significant difference from before. However, upon closer inspection, Lu Changxing still noticed something extraordinary. The dense patterns on the vine seemed to be slowly flowing, intricate and profound, interwoven with truth and reason. Lu Changxing calmly gazed at the Xiantian spiritual vine before him, as if he could see a mysterious pattern in it. All things in full display, bursting with life, flowers blooming like a splendid tapestry, green leaves about to drip. Eventually, withering and decaying, returning to the earth's origin, cycling endlessly, the ebb and flow of years. After a long while. It is said that many techniques and abilities are realized by cultivators observing the fundamental nature of the world. Seems there is truth to that. Lu Changxing sighed deeply, murmuring to himself. Realizing the patterns on the Xiantian spiritual vine were far from simple, evolving some intricate and profound rules and order. If he could grasp the principles and truths from it, perhaps he could comprehend a set of top-tier techniques and divine skills. And even without deciphering any techniques and abilities, he would still gain immensely from it. However, Lu Changxing knew his own level of comprehension. It was also difficult for him to settle down and spend decades or even centuries to contemplate the rules and principles of the spiritual vine. Such pure spiritual energy. At this moment, Lu Changxing noticed that within the thriving vitality of the Xiantian spiritual vine, a pure and rich spiritual energy was emanating. This spiritual energy was very pure and concentrated, having reached the third order of nature's spiritual energy, continuously nourishing his family's spirit vein. Through the origin spirit pupillary art, Lu Changxing immediately saw that under the nourishment of the Xiantian spiritual vine's aura, his family's spirit vein was in a state of rapid growth. He estimated that in 50 to 60 years, it could autonomously ascend to the second-tier top-level spirit vein. For an ordinary family, for a spirit vein to be able to ascend from second-order superior to second-tier top-level in 50 to 60 years would be extremely fast. But to Lu Changxing, could this growth that takes 50 to 60 years to reach second-tier top-level really be considered growth? It seems that for my spirit vein to advance, I still have to rely on myself. Otherwise, to depend on the Xiantian spiritual vine to upgrade the spirit vein to third rank would be an unknown number of years in the future. However, the higher the grade of the Biyun Peak spiritual vein, the better the effect of the Xiantian spiritual vine, so I should really cultivate the spirit vein of Bai Lake Mountain properly. Lu Changxing saw that the effects of the Xiantian spiritual vine were closely related to the spirit veins it rooted in. He planned to upgrade the Biyun Peak spiritual vein to quasi-third order after his excursion to the Myriad Beasts mountain range. In this way, not only would the family's spiritual energy greatly improve, but the effects of the Xiantian spiritual vine would also be enhanced. It's too bad I can't see the fortune situation. Lu Changxing's eyes shimmered with purple luster as he continuously examined the Xiantian spiritual vine but was unable to discern the effects of gathering the world's fortune. He only knew that after the spiritual vine rooted, it would gather the fortune of heaven and earth, thus blessing everyone on Blue Cloud Peak. Even this effect would radiate from Blue Cloud Peak to the entire Lake Mountain and even the surrounding area of Lake Mountain. Regardless, the Lu family disciples who lived long-term on Blue Cloud Peak would certainly benefit the most. After planting the Xiantian spiritual vine, Lu Changxing stepped out of the tunnel and instructed Mount Sumru to take care of the spiritual vine on a daily basis. Report to him immediately if there was any unexpected disturbance. If he was not around, then notify Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, and Ling Zixiao. Yes, master. Mount Sumru responded, its voice ethereal and pure, gentle and faint, sounding very pleasant. I wonder if Hong Lian knows about the Xiantian spiritual vine. Lu Changxing pondered secretly, heading to Mount Sumru Cave Heaven, beside the Peachwood Spirit Womb, and called out to Hong Lian, Hong Lian? What is it you need, young master? Although Hong Lian was in a semi-sleeping state. But upon hearing Lu Changxing's voice, she responded immediately. Have you ever heard of the Xiantian Immortal Vine? Lu Changxing asked aloud. He learned through the system's introduction that his Xiantian spiritual vine was a companion vine of the Xiantian immortal vine, so he wanted to know more about this aspect. The Xiantian immortal vine. Hong Lian was shocked. She couldn't help but wonder if Lu Changxing possessed a Xiantian immortal vine. After all, the young master often inquired about certain things from her. Search * the novel, F. Iyer. And a website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. These things seemed unrelated. But soon enough, she would see related items from Lu Changxing. Young master, I have never heard about the Xiantian immortal vine either. But I have seen a saying, anything titled with Xiantian belongs to the level of an exceptionally rare treasure. Hong Lian's voice was ethereal and clear, saying so. Then do you have any understanding of such Xiantian treasures? Lu Changxing raised an eyebrow, continuing to inquire. Regarding this, I also have no understanding, merely having heard a bit here and there, not sure if it's true. It is rumored that such treasures crowned with the name Xiantian are manifestations of the world's rules, containing part of the origin source, and possess the effect of suppressing one's fortune. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know and report, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1154. There are also rumors that such Xiantian treasures are existences far beyond heavenly spirit treasures, and that only great vehicle true immortals can control them. Regardless, such Xiantian treasures are already beyond the grasp of those at the nascent soul transcendent level, let alone above the state of transformation into divinity, returning to the void, merging with the Tao. They are greatly attractive to great vehicle true immortals. Hong Lian spoke slowly. At the height of her power, she was indeed a nascent soul true lord. But she also only knew of the existence of the deity of transformation. As for those beyond the state of transformation into divinity, returning to the void, merging with the Tao, or reaching the great vehicle, she had never heard of them. These Xiantian treasures were also known through some ancient books and handbooks passed down from ancient times. Her understanding of them was partial and she could not be certain of their authenticity. Far beyond heavenly spirit treasures, only the great vehicle true immortals can control. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing's brows slightly furrowed, feeling that his Xiantian spiritual vine might not be so rare and powerful. After all, the Xiantian spiritual vine is only 5th rank, and no matter how powerful, its potential should be limited. There may also be different levels among Xiantian treasures. For example, the Xiantian immortal vine is much rarer and more powerful. And the Xiantian spiritual vine is just an accompanying vine to the Xiantian immortal vine, belonging to the lowest level? Lu Changxing guessed in his heart. He continued to ask, Hong Lian, do you know of any ways to observe Qi luck? Qi luck? After pondering for a moment, Hong Lian replied, Young master, personal Qi luck is elusive and hard to capture or observe. If it is about the fortune of a sect's power, those proficient in divination, extrapolation, and feng shui can discern the general state of Qi luck. After finishing, Hong Lian added with some uncertainty, perhaps there are some supreme treasures or pupil skill divine abilities that can observe Qi luck, but I am not very clear about this aspect. Divination, extrapolation, feng shui, Lu Changxing nodded, knowing that within the 100 arts of cultivation, there are professions such as diviner, life fate manipulator, feng shui master, etc., which subtly involve Qi luck and fortune. However, these professions are exceedingly rare. Artifact refiners, alchemists, formation masters, and talisman masters can be met with ease wherever one goes. But he had never seen practitioners of the aforementioned professions. What use is the Qi luck of a sect's power? Lu Changxing continued to inquire. Sar the novel _fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Regarding personal Qi luck, he was aware of effects like turning disaster into blessings and finding treasures upon stepping out of the door. But he didn't quite understand the collective Qi luck of a sect. It couldn't possibly mean that treasures would fall from the sky, right? The matter of Qi luck is extremely mysterious, with no clear definition. If a sect's Qi luck is abundant, then relatively speaking, it is easy for this sect to produce genius disciples. For example, some geniuses subconsciously choose to join such a sect, or an elder of the sect encounters a genius disciple and so on. Under the care of a sect's chi luck, its disciples may find it easier to break through realms, comprehend cultivation techniques, and reduce the incidence of heart demons and deviations during their cultivation. Or perhaps disciples who are already fortunate might intuitively make the right choices when encountering events outside, influenced by subtle intuition. Overall, the chi luck of a sect's power is not very noticeable on an individual, but on the whole, it quietly influences a positive development. Hong Lian's voice sounded ethereal and pleasant as she spoke slowly. I see. Lu Changxing nodded slightly, roughly understanding that collective chi luck acts as a sort of overall enhancement buff. On an individual, it might have a minimal effect with no marked impact, adding just a touch of splendor. But when applied collectively, it brings many intangible and substantial benefits. Speaking of which, if the chi luck is good, does that mean if children are born on by Lake Mountain, would they be more likely to have spiritual roots, and with better spiritual root talent? Lu Changxing mused in his heart. The matter of giving birth is inherently greatly influenced by luck. If it is backed by the added bonus of chi luck, perhaps the quality of offspring in the family could rise a notch. Alas, it's a pity I can't see the effects of chi luck. Lu Changxing sighed, hoping that one day he would acquire the skills of a diviner or feng shui master. In this way, he would be able to observe the chi luck of his family, and determine their fortune and misfortune. All right, you rest well. Without asking further, Lu Changxing went to accompany his wives and children at the Lu family mansion. A month later, Ling Zixiao told Lu Changxing that there were no abnormalities in her cultivation process. This new spiritual body, in addition to providing a certain boost to the speed of cultivation, also has a nurturing effect on the physical body. Whether there are other effects, she herself is not clear. However, she speculated that this spiritual body should be considered a weakened version of the dragon roar physique, and may slightly aid in breaking through realms. It's good that there are no issues. Lu Changxing held his wife's hand and responded with a gentle voice. After checking Ling Zixiao's physical condition a few times, he went to find his daughter Lu Lingyi to resolve her dragon roar physique. Some time ago, Lu Pingan had already sent his daughter back and spoke to him about the matters of Rui Prefecture. Regarding the situation in Rui Prefecture, Lu Changxing didn't comment much, only sighed, indicating that Lu Pingan had worked hard. The two of them came to Bai Shui Lake, and immediately saw Lu Wangshu fishing with Lu Lingyi. To be precise, it was Lu Wangshu fishing, while Lu Lingyi was using a spear to catch fish. Seeing her own daughter with her pants rolled up, standing on windfire wheels, holding a fish spear, and constantly spearing fish, the normally gracefully poised Ling Zixiao was momentarily stiff. She didn't expect her daughter to be highly educated and reasonable, but at least she should have some ladylike appearance, right? This manner, what will people think? Daddy, Mom, Father, Auntie. The two girls called out immediately upon seeing Lu Changxing and Ling Zixiao. However, Lu Wangshu felt somewhat guilty upon seeing the look on her Auntie Ling's face. This auntie usually paid great attention to posture and appearance, acting in an orderly fashion, neither hasty nor slow, and was very elegant. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1155. Seeing her daughter Lu Lingyi like this, she was obviously somewhat unhappy. Xiaohe, Daddy has something to talk to you about. Lu Changxing pretended not to see his wife's expression and called out to his daughter with a gentle voice. Then he took his daughter to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven and fed her an elixir medicine, making her fall into a deep sleep. Inverting yin and yang, reversing the spirit-body origin was an extremely painful process. Thus, Lu Changxing had prepared the elixir medicine for his daughter long ago. Of course, it was because Lu Ling's condition wasn't severe and didn't require her cooperation. However, Lu Changxing still called over Lu Miaoge, instructing her to watch over her and use Tai True water to nourish her daughter's body. Suddenly, under Ling Zixiao's somewhat anxious watch, Lu Changxing began resolving his daughter's dragon roar physique. The process was very smooth, and Lu Lingyi was unconscious throughout and did not feel anything. After a long time, When Lu Lingyi woke up, she was stunned and somewhat bewildered, saying, Daddy, Mommy, Auntie, why did I fall asleep? Xiaohe, do you feel any discomfort? Ling Zixiao immediately asked with concern. Lu Lingyi tilted her head, then looked at her fair and tender palms, clenched her fists, and spoke out, Mom, I feel like my body is full of strength, I could kill a tiger with one punch. Upon hearing this, Ling Zixiao's face stiffened. Xiaohe should be fine now. Lu Changxing touched his daughter's little head and said with a warm smile, Xiaohe, didn't you want to learn powerful cultivation techniques? Rest well these next few days, and then Daddy will teach you. He, Mr. Lu, had encountered very few setbacks. One of which was teaching his daughter Lu Lingyi cultivation. Now that his daughter's dragon roar physique issue was resolved, and he himself had made a core formation breakthrough, he could fully utilize magical treasures. Therefore, he was ready to use the cave mystique treasure mirror to instruct his daughter in her cultivation. However, having just resolved his daughter's dragon roar physique, he was greatly depleted and needed to rest and recover. Thank you, Daddy. Lu Lingyi immediately responded with joy upon hearing this. After chatting with his wife and daughter for a while, Lu Changxing left the Mount Sumru cave heaven and went next to the Xiantian spiritual vine to sit and meditate, recovering his mana. Even when he meditated normally, the spiritual energy of the entire Bai Lake mountain would be affected. Now with the Xiantian spiritual vine, this situation had improved. The spiritual energy exuding from the vine was pure and rich, comparable to a top-tier spiritual spring, enough for his meditative cultivation. However, such meditative cultivation would affect the spiritual vine's nourishment to the spirit vein. Now that Zishao and Ziahe's issues are resolved, I can almost head to the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Lu Changxing thought to himself while sitting cross-legged. However, for this trip to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, he intended to visit the Azure Phoenix Immortal City first, to deal with some of his spoils and also to see if there were any materials for crafting his magical treasures. I wonder what the current situation in Azure Phoenix Immortal City is like. How is Fei Yu now? Lu Changxing thought of what Lu Miaoyun had told him earlier, that there had been significant turnover and unrest in the Azure Phoenix Immortal City, and he couldn't help but think of his friend in the city. Azure Phoenix Immortal City. A year ago, a dramatic change took place in Azure Phoenix Immortal City. The lineage of the ruling Azure Phoenix Immortal had been purged. Their core interests and powers were completely taken over by other families, merchant associations, and sections. This purge was carried out swiftly and decisively, without causing too much turmoil in Azure Phoenix Immortal City. Even shortly after the reshuffle, with the disappearance of the Azure Phoenix Immortal, the previously unstable situation gradually stabilized. This led many loose cultivators who had left Azure Phoenix Immortal City to return to this sacred land for loose cultivators. At this very moment, within a dark prison cell of Azure Phoenix Immortal City. Daoist Li, why must you be so stubborn? Just tell us what happened with Azure Phoenix Immortal's discovery in the ruins of Myriad Beasts mountain range, and Master White Peak will not only let you resume your position as the capital commandant but is also willing to bestow numerous elixir medicines and heavenly and earthly treasures. A red-dressed lady said to the tall, disheveled man who was locked with chains through his shoulders, hung on a cross, before her. The disheveled man didn't speak, his head slightly lowered. Were it not for his breathing, one might think he was already dead. Li Feiyu, Azure Phoenix Immortal has already given up on the Immortal City's foundation and is fully seeking out a nascent soul opportunity. He will not return. Master White Peak has found a soul path secret treasure. Even if you don't volunteer the information, these matters will eventually be known by Master White Peak, so why do you persist, needlessly throwing away your future and life? The red-dressed lady looked at the man before her, speaking with an expression of frustration, as if scolding an obstinate child. Since Master White Peak has a soul path secret treasure, he can just use it to perform a soul search. Li Feiyu spoke in a weak and hoarse voice, his robe tattered and full of wounds, with blood-stained scars. Once such a soul path secret treasure is used to search the soul, even if you don't die, you will end up a demented fool. Why go through with this? Azure Phoenix Immortal has been kind to you, and even the opportunities you found in the ruins were exchanged for it. Even Master Zhao and Master Su are willing to submit to Master White Peak, being just a Foundation establishment cultivator, why remain so obstinately misguided? The red-dressed lady continued to speak, her tone mixed with reproach. Heh, Daoist Zhang, do you really think that by telling these things, I will have a way out? That Master White Peak would spare my life? Li Feiyu raised his head slightly, and beneath his messy hair, his weary and aged face, devoid of any color, showed a hint of sarcasm. Upon hearing this, the red-dressed lady silently pondered for a long time before saying, Master White Peak is willing to swear a Daohard oath. Heh, Li Feiyu just sneered and said no more. Seeing this, the red-dressed lady did not say anything further. She walked out of the prison, bowed to an old man outside with white hair but a youthful face, a tall figure, and vibrant spirit, saying, Immortal Master, this person still refuses to disclose the matters regarding the ruins in Myriad Beasts mountain range. Humph, seems this young man is certain his sea of consciousness has prohibitions, and this immortal master dare not search his soul recklessly. Master White Peak's dark and profound eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness upon hearing this. Enough, this immortal master understands. He gestured lightly to the red-dressed lady and then entered the prison cell. Sarthanafire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1156, by Lake Mountain, Lu Family Mansion. Daddy. Lu Lingyi, with her twin buns, looked cute and adorable, gazing expectantly at her father. Don't rush. Lu Changxing said with a smile, conjuring the cave mystique treasure mirror. He then grasped his daughter's tender little hand, forcing a drop of essence blood onto the mirror. The mirror swiftly absorbed the essence blood, and then its glowing surface shimmered with speckles of rosy light, blooming like a pure and flawless five-colored lotus. Xiaohe, do you remember the words Daddy told you just now? Lu Changxing asked his daughter gently. Michim, I remember all of it. Lu Lingyi nodded firmly. Good. Mana surged within Lu Changxing, the cave mystique treasure mirror dazzled brightly, its reflection enveloping Lu Lingyi. In an instant, Lu Lingyi felt dizzy, and she found herself in a pitch-black space. Daddy, it's so dark. Lu Lingyi cried out. Although she wasn't afraid of the dark, suddenly being in such a lightless, silent, and dark place still made her a bit scared. Shoo! The next moment, she saw a figure of light appear in the darkness. Upon closer inspection, this figure of light actually looked exactly like her, cute and adorable with twin buns. Black Dragon Codex, used Qi as the guide, observed the transformations of the true dragon, capable of enlarging and shrinking, ascending and drawing in. The figure of light began to cultivate the Black Dragon Codex, speaking to Lu Lingyi. Watching the figure of light, Lu Lingyi was momentarily stunned, but then, remembering her father's instructions, she concentrated her mental spirit to intently watch the figure cultivate. After the figure of light demonstrated once, it slowly overlapped with Lu Ling's form. In an instant, Lu Lingyi entered a mysterious state. It was as if someone was painstakingly teaching her the Black Dragon Codex, and she felt a strange familiarity with this cultivation technique. A serious expression emerged on her pretty little face, as she cycled the technique following this mysterious sensation. Throughout the process, any slight mistake in the execution caused the figure to stop, point out the error, and then start again from the beginning. In this way, in the pitch-black space, the human form and the figure of light overlapped, tirelessly practicing the Black Dragon Codex. The technique was abstruse and profound, with many details in the cultivation process that Lu Lingyi didn't understand, causing her to make constant mistakes. But she wasn't disheartened, her little face full of seriousness. After each correction by the figure of light, she kept it in mind, ensuring not to repeat the same mistake. In the dark space where time seemed to stand still, Lu Lingyi continuously cycled the technique, guided by the figure of light. After an unknown amount of time, Lu Lingyi finally executed the Black Dragon Codex perfectly, without any errors, synchronizing with the figure of light. Sigh. Lu Changxing, holding the cave mystique treasure mirror, watched his daughter, who was seated cross-legged, and exhaled a tired breath. Even with his core formation cultivation, sustaining such a top-grade magical treasure for a long time was not without its costs. Moreover, this treasure did not only consume mana but also heavily drained the mental spirit. However, seeing his daughter mastering the technique, he felt the effort was worthwhile. Daddy, moments later, Lu Lingyi, groggy as if waking from a dream, instinctively embraced Lu Changxing before her. Daddy is here. Cradling his daughter, Lu Changxing gently asked, Xiaohe, do you still remember the process of your recent cultivation? Daddy, I remember. Lu Lingyi nodded in response and then demonstrated to Lu Changxing. Though lacking the enhanced state provided by the cave mystique treasure mirror, there wasn't much of a problem overall. Not bad, that's wonderful. Lu Changxing rubbed his daughter's little head and cheerfully said, Are you hungry? Daddy, I am hungry. Upon hearing this, Lu Lingyi immediately touched her flat belly and nodded her little head. Let's go, Daddy will take you for something delicious. With a slight lift of his hand, Lu Changxing put away the cave mystique treasure mirror and spoke with a warm smile. Although his daughter didn't seem too bright, he still dearly loved and favored his obedient and innocent child. After temporarily resolving matters with his daughter Lu Lingyi, Lu Changxing rested for half a month before preparing to head to the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Apart from mining spirit veins, he needed also to hunt a third-rank demon king, so Lu Changxing did not plan to bring Ling Zixiao with him. After all, the Myriad Beasts mountain range was perilous. Once targeted by several demon kings, Lu Changxing was confident he could escape alone. But bringing Ling Zixiao would significantly increase the risks. Zixiao, Sister Miaoga, I'm counting on you to look after things at home. I will return from the Myriad Beasts mountain range in as short as half a year or as long as 1 year. If anything arises, just crush this jade talisman, and I will rush back immediately. Lu Changxing spoke to his wives, indicating all matters concerning their children's foundation establishment and dealing with caravans should wait for his return. Changxing, please be very careful. Lord, do not worry, we will handle things at home. The two ladies said. However, knowing that Lu Changxing was heading to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, they couldn't help but worry. After all, the perils of the Myriad Beasts mountain range were renowned throughout Jianghu country, and even in multiple cultivation worlds. Rest assured, I am aware. Lu Changxing held his wife's hand, smiling. After bidding farewell to his wife, Lu Changxing discreetly left by Lake Mountain, steering the starlight plate towards the direction of the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Now that he had achieved core formation, he could fully utilize the starlight plate's capabilities. Whoosh, like a comet slicing through the sky, he entered the Nine Heavens Gang Wind. Sar the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1157, No wonder nascent soul immortals are unbound and roam the world freely. If I travel at full speed now, I estimate that it will take half a month to reach the Myriad Beasts mountain range. When the time comes, it will be much more convenient to visit Qingshan and Qingzhou in Yu country, without the need to continuously transfer between spiritual vessels like before. Lu Changxing, clad in a dark robe, his face valiant and majestic, stood tall and slender upon the starlight plate, exuding an aura as deep as the ocean and as stable as a mountain. Wind Thunder Hound, I'm coming. Lu Changxing looked towards the direction of the Myriad Beasts mountain range, his eyes slightly narrowing, whispering to himself. Although he was planning to visit Azure Phoenix Immortal City, his plan was to head to the Myriad Beasts mountain range first to capture spirit veins and hunt the Demon King. After the busy work, he would go to Azure Phoenix Immortal City, where he could deal with the chaotic gains. At the Myriad Beasts mountain range, the first stop, the first prey, naturally was the very Wind Thunderhound that had previously chased him. Hunting this Wind Thunderhound was not just to reclaim what happened before. There were rumors that the Wind Thunderhound possessed a trace of the ancient True Hound's bloodline, potentially at the heaven rank. Besides needing the blood essence spirit light to awaken the Tai Chi soul body, Lu Changxing also needed the heavenly demon blood to cultivate the Brahma demon true saint technique. Although this true immortal level technique was extremely demanding, he would still choose dual cultivation if he could meet the conditions. After all, this technique was indeed powerful and overbearing in terms of fighting technique. Jin Kingdom, 5 Poisons Cult. Jiang Country, Tianyuan's Secret Realm. Nangong Mili, a stunningly enchanting beauty, wrapped in a purple silk dress, her slender heels clicking. Yes, this Tianyuan's Secret Realm is the legendary site of the cave mansion left by Tianyuan True Monarch. We receive news that within this realm, not only there is an inheritance of Tianyuan True Monarch and the heavenly origin precious lotus, but also a wordless stone stele. If a destined person can obtain a supreme opportunity from the stele, hence I want you to go to Jiang Country and verify this matter. CTH Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. From above in the hall, a child with a face like beautiful jade and skin as smooth as lard, about 7 or 8 years old, wearing a silver crown hairpin and a purple-red dress, barefooted, spoke. Sect Hierarch, Mili is willing to go. Nangong Mili pondered for a moment and then cupped her hands in a salute. Good. Hearing this, the leader of the 5 Poisons cult waved, and a jade token appeared, landing in front of Nangong Mili. Someone deliberately leaked this information, so apart from our 5 Poisons cult, other forces will also go. Be extra careful. Yes, Sect Hierarch. Nangong Mili caught the token and responded. After leaving the 5 Saints Hall, Nangong Mili looked at the jade token in her hand, her slender beautiful eyes slightly narrowing, quietly muttering, Jiang Country, it's time to settle this grudge. She then conjured a jade shuttle, transforming into a divine rainbow and leaving the 5 Poisons cult. Immortal Spider Marketplace. In a magnificent palace. A 16 or 17-year-old, exquisitely beautiful girl in a purple dress, with trembling eyelashes, opened her eyes, shining like stars and azure waves, dazzlingly beautiful. Her delicate, pale hand held a jade token, exuding a purple glow. Mom's here. Her face lit up with a pure and lovely smile as she stood and walked out of the palace. Stepping out, she saw a woman resembling her in features by 7 or 80%, but with an extremely beautiful, enchanting, and alluring appearance looking tenderly at her. Mom! Nangong Yaoyao joyfully called out and dove into the woman's curvaceous embrace, affectionately nestling her small head against her. You've grown so much, yet you still act like a child. Nangong Mili looked at her daughter in her arms, the long Danfang eyes radiating maternal warmth, her mouth curving into a smile, softly spoke. Yao Yao will always be a little child in front of Mom. Nangong Yaoyao's starry eyes shimmered, her face innocent and utterly adorable. Where is your sister Xiao Chan? Nangong Mili gently stroked her daughter's flowing, soft hair as she asked. At this moment, her entire demeanor lacked any trace of enchantment or seduction. Sister Xiao Chan is cultivating. Mom, what brings you to the marketplace? Is there something? Nangong Yaoyao, linking arms with her mother, snuggled up to her shoulder, her voice joyful. There's a mission from the sect. Mom needs to make a long trip, so she came to see Yao Yao. Nangong Mili looked at her daughter, tracing bits of a familiar yet distant outline in her brows. She thought to herself, this trip to Jiang Country, for the sake of her daughter and the past affair with Misty Sky Bead, as long as the other party cooperates and surrenders the immortal golden core opportunity. Mom just returned from Heartless Ridge, how is there another mission? Nangong Yaoyao, upon hearing this, instantly pouted her soft lips, feeling somewhat aggrieved. This task won't take long, I will return once I'm done. Nangong Mili's heart softened, a reluctant tone in her voice. While they talked, Meng Xiaochan hurried over. Hearing her master was going far, instructing her to take good care of Nangong Yaoyao, her heart suddenly thumped, her mind in turmoil, guessing her master's purpose. After all, the master had just returned from Heartless Ridge. Where else would there be a task now? This trip afar was very likely aimed at going to Jiang Country, seeking Lu Lang. Although she had anticipated this day, she couldn't help but worry, her thoughts in disarray. Meng Xiaochan occasionally looked at Nangong Yaoyao, considering whether to disclose the matter about Lu Changxing. Maybe the master, considering Yao Yao's sake, would let Lu Lang off. Sister Xiao-chan, what's wrong? Nangong Yao Yao, noticing Meng Xiaocan's frequent glances and beaming smile, asked. Xiao-chan, your master knows your situation, just take good care of Yao Yao. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1158, Nangong merely seemed to guess what Xiao-chan was thinking and said lightly. This disciple has been deeply affected by the Lockhart goo, and even the Phoenix goo cannot solve it. So to solve it, not only does the emotional threads of the Lockhart goo need to be actively released, but she also needs to come out of it on her own. Yes, master. Upon hearing this, Meng Xiaochan felt relieved and roughly understood the meaning of her master's words. She would take good care of Nangong Yao Yao and, in return, the other party would spare Lu Lang as a favor to Yao Yao, without going to extremes. Jianghu country. Myriad Beasts Mountain Range. Where did this wind thunderhound come from? After arriving at the Myriad Beasts Mountain Range, Lu Changxing suddenly realized a problem. It was previously his commotion that led the wind thunderhound to actively pursue him to kill. So, he wasn't sure exactly where this wind thunderhound's lair was. This is a bit embarrassing, Lu Changxing, looking upon the towering, undulating mountain ranges of the vast Myriad Beasts Mountain Range, suddenly felt as if he was drawing his sword but lost in direction. Forget it, I'll start by digging up the spirit vein. Lu Changxing decided to extract the spirit vein first before beginning to hunt the Demon King. After all, once he takes action, it would be difficult to focus on mining the spirit vein quietly afterward. Moreover, during this process, the wind thunderhound might make an appearance. Immediately, Lu Changxing entered the mountain range with familiarity. He then released the Thousand Faces puppet fox and the seeking spirit mouse to start searching for the spirit vein. Having now achieved core formation, Lu Changxing was much bolder than before, venturing deep into the belly of the Myriad Beasts Mountain Range. It must be said, this Myriad Beasts Mountain Range was simply full of treasures. Upon reaching the deep interior, Lu Changxing encountered a top-tier second-rank great demon, and after killing it, not only did he obtain a special monster core, but he also found several rare spiritual medicines in its cave. Following that, Lu Changxing set up a simple small reversed 5 elements array, had the Thousand Faces puppet fox keep watch, and began extracting the spiritual vein origin. Roar, that day, just as Lu Changxing killed a top-tier second-rank great demon and was preparing to dig the spirit vein, he suddenly heard a roar like thunder, rolling forcefully. This is the sound of the wind thunderhound. Lu Changxing paused, immediately recognizing it as the sound of the wind thunderhound. However, judging from the sound and furor, it was far from his location and not directed at him. Could it be that other cultivators or demon beasts are confronting the wind thunderhound? Lu Changxing frowned slightly, stepped out of the cave, and gazed towards the distant sky dome. He saw in the far sky, 2 overwhelming and terrifying energies surging, causing the heavens and earth to echo with thunders like muffled roars. It's indeed the wind thunderhound, and that's a human clan cultivator. Lu Changxing's eyes shifted with yin-yang qi, spotting a fierce beast perched in the sky dome, with a massive body several meters long, a head resembling both a lion and a tiger, terrifyingly ferocious, with a pair of purple-green wings edged in gold on its back. It was charged with demonic power, wings unfurling amidst roiling winds and thunder, stirring up a sky-covering tempest of thunder, exerting a devastating pressure of destruction. And fighting the wind thunderhound was a human figure. Whether it was a man or a woman, Lu Changxing couldn't tell due to the distance. But it was clear the person was also a nascent soul immortal. Otherwise, they couldn't possibly contend with the wind thunderhound. At once, aura light flowed around Lu Changxing, and his fate-defying robe shimmered with an invisible luster, concealing his entire existence as if camouflaged within the void, as he flew toward the direction of the wind thunderhound. Since his target appeared, he naturally would not let it go. Moreover, this was also an opportunity to gauge the combat abilities of the wind thunderhound and this person, roughly estimating the actual strength of a third-rank demon king and a nascent soul immortal. S.E.A. the Novlier. N.E. T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible.